story about 5 hours ago. It's actually a 4-team trade involving Indiana and Cleveland as well. The Rockets are picking up Victor Oladipo from the Pacers. Karis LeVert goes to Indiana. ESPN analyst Doris Burke had a couple of instant thoughts on this trade for Harden. Number one, the Nets, who already had eyes on them to win a title this season, now have even more peepers looking at them. And
my second thought came almost as quickly, Sage, and it was this will not be without its challenges. We know Kevin Durant can play alongside another MVP and a great two-way player in Klay Thompson and rise to the top and be a two-time MVP. What we don't know is whether Kyrie Irving, who has bristled at times with another great player like LeBron James, or James Harden, who has now gone through multiple great players alongside of him, are willing to make the necessary sacrifices.
That was Doris Burke on ESPN Sports Center. The Nets are playing tonight against the Knicks. Right now, with only 9 guys dressing, Brooklyn still has a 13-point lead, 74-61, halfway through the third quarter. It's the first of a doubleheader on ESPN and the app. The nightcap coming up should be a good one. From the West Coast in Los Angeles, it'll be the Clippers hosting New Orleans, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Texas and Texas Tech about to tip off.
Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant together, the most prolific trio of scoring the NBA has ever seen. Oh, we're going to break down that and more Thursday on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Isn't this a sports show?
Thank you. Every caller.
Almost entirely.
Like, he is a bipartisan bleep talker. That's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be known as a bipartisan bleep talker.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I gain energy by talking. I'm a plant in that way, and my photosynthesis isn't with sunlight, it's with attention. I am bacterial.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
You know they're probably not going to talk about on ESPN? Too many Spider Boys.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I've been removed from the COVID-19 close contact reserve list. I'm here, Rudy's here, Beards is here. Rudy's laughing at something. What are you laughing at, Rudy?
Oh, you started talking. Your mic was not on.
Was it not?
It was not.
No. Beards just shook his head and mouthed the word no.
It was not.
Really? I felt like I gave you a lot of time.
It's not on. See ya.
Wow. Welcome back to Josh, I guess, huh? No, I didn't catch that. Thanks for mentioning it, though. If you would like to see Rudy cackling, the life being sucked out of Beards through the mixer, and me sitting here just sort of trapped between it all, you can watch the show in a wide variety of places. The YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch streams are all up. Search for Sports Radio 810, and then whatever word you're looking for, whatever outlet you're looking for, you can Google that, and you'll find your way there.
Looking nice and crisp today, that video feed.
Oh, yeah, we've got some different things. I'll tell you what, listen.
Looks very crisp.
Beards, you know, you're...
Beards, I will say, I think you should still put Josh's Twitter handle in different colors throughout the show, just all over the place.
No, it's over on the side. It's okay.
I think that's still needed.
I just want people to be able to read it. And you know, listen, Beards, your plus minus within the, first 30 seconds of the show took a pretty big hit. But the fact that the stream looks better, significantly better, because we're using your personal computer that you brought, that is a huge boon to your added value here. Sure. Your DVOA is still exceptional. Yeah. You just definitely, we got behind the sticks, as they say. We had a negative play, and now we're kind of fighting back from that. But listen, you know what you do after you run the ball on 1st and 10 and you get 0 yards? You run that ball again. You establish that run, and that's what we're doing here today.
It feels like a strong Alex Smith performance.
You know what?
Kind of what the vibes Beards gives to me.
Can I? So let me set up this. Let me set this up. Let me set up the show today. Haven't had a show the last couple of nights because the national championship college football game happened. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
On Monday, to the point that it did not come up in casual conversation among the three of us today until 1 second before the intro started.
Yep.
And I went, hey, Rudy, the national championship game happened. I can write that down in the Google Doc.
Which he could do because his mic wasn't on.
Right, exactly. And so that happened on Monday. We had KU on Tuesday, an interesting game that KU lost to Oklahoma State. That happened Monday, Tuesday. We just got off of a 6-game super wild card weekend, much to Mick Schaefer's chagrin. We got through a 6-game, what do we call it, Beards? Plebeian weekend?
Yeah, plebe week.
Plebe week?
Plebe week.
We got through plebe week. This is whenever we find out if Rudy listened to the hour we did it with Nick or not, because I think there's only one way. I think we found the answer.
Yeah, totally.
That's fine. It's
Totally
fine.
did.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not hurt about it. it's going to be very confusing.
Plebe week. I was there.
Plebe week is now what
I
we
remember it all.
call. Go ahead, Rudy.
Super wild card weekend.
That's exactly right. It's like you were there.
Because I was listening.
And so we had the wild card weekend. We've had all these things happen in the days since. And then today I was driving out to Arrowhead Stadium, as I do on a weekly basis, even in the Zoom press conference era. Because I go out there, shoot a little video, come back here, chop that bad boy up, ends up out on the 810 socials. I think it should go up tomorrow morning in all likelihood. But I was driving out to Arrowhead to do that. And while I was driving, just on a 12-minute drive or whatever from my house to Arrowhead, James Harden got traded to the Nets for a whole bunch of picks. The president got impeached by the House again, and Twitter was a level of on fire that I felt like Donald Glover in Community in that scene where he comes back in with the pizza box and everything's on fire.
I still haven't gotten to that episode yet.
Oh, you're watching the show now?
I didn't know you're watching Community.
Yeah, it's a while.
Just
off and on.
You like?
Maybe
like
that's
it?
you have been watching it for a long time, very slowly.
Yeah.
It's all
really
good.
good
It's
Every
a good
once in a while.
show.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a good show. Rudy, will you write down somewhere in there? Just give me a little bullet point somewhere in our Monday section for just talking about funny shows, because I've got, that's just a good topic. We should come back to that. But I pulled into the parking spot at Arrowhead where I was gonna like set up and shoot my video and everything, and I mean, I kid you not, like I just was flipping through my Twitter app, genuinely trying to figure out what was going on. Because some of the headlines about impeachment were confusing, and some of the trade details were still coming in, and I still don't know where Victor Oladipo plays now. Is he in Houston?
Yes.
It was just one of those snapshots in time where there were at least two events happening in the same moment, and this whole show is not going to be about impeachment. We've been very good, I feel like, in terms of just trying to, entertain the people with some almost entirely sports lately. We're not going to give these two topics equal time in tonight's show. I don't think. Unless we don't talk about the trade at all, which I guess has a chance of happening. But it was just one of those moments where I couldn't help but have my head be spinning while I was trying to just read through the screen, because it was at least two events that would have dominated my timeline in a normal day. Plus, I was at Arrowhead because the Chiefs have a playoff game coming up in a few days against the Cleveland Browns. Hop into a time machine really quick and try to talk to yourself from 5 years ago and say, listen, 2020 is going to be a toughie. Like, buy toilet paper in January and you'll thank me later. However, in 2021, me from 5 years ago, Kansas City's football team and Cleveland's football team are going to play to go to the AFC Championship game. What?
After the Chiefs already won the Super Bowl the year prior.
I think that's almost like a spoiler at that point. Like, I wouldn't even want to give past me that sort of, which, by the way, whenever I tell him that 2020 is going to be terrible and give him no more information, he's got to think that that the Texans are not giving up that lead, or the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl by 20 or something, which really shows you kind of how far 2020 ended up pulling a Yui right after the Chiefs won a Super Bowl. But it just, that in and of itself is absolutely preposterous. And none of those places are where we're starting the show today, because I need to say thank you to for a wonderful gift that is going to be really something for the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube audience. I have tweeted it out already. If you're on Twitter, you can go see it at JB Brisco. But Dean's Trophies, a local Kansas City shop that does prints and engravings and all sorts of awards and apparel and whatnot. Their website is deanskc.com. They're not sponsoring this anything, but I had tweeted about something that we talked about earlier this week. And I believe, I don't remember who said what first, but at one point I said, man, I would love to simply have this on a t-shirt. And within like 30 minutes, the folks at Dean's Trophies, at Dean's KC on Twitter, deanskc.com, said, do you want us to send it to the 810 studios? What size? It'll be there in like 2 days or whatever. And so now if you'll turn your attention to the video aspects of this stream, you can see the shirt that I got in the mail from the wonderful people at Dean's Trophies. Beards, go ahead and get yourself a nice zoom here if you need to. I won't move it. It is a t-shirt of the tattoo of the photo of Patrick Mahomes pouring beer into Travis Kelce's mouth. And the tattoo is not very good, but the t-shirt is excellent. It is sort of hard to look at for too long a period of time. The tattoo, that is. Yeah. And I will tell you also, if you've got, some engraving needs or whatever, the shirt is incredibly soft. The print is excellent. That's a 10 out of 10 endorsement from me to the folks at Dean's Trophies. So thank you very much for sending this bespoke t-shirt. I look forward to wearing it in the days to come. It might be, we'll see how it goes. Maybe this ends up just being the shirt of like the 2021 postseason, where it's just like, I'm not superstitious, nor am I a little stitious, to be honest.
I'm only a little stitious.
But if I wear this on Sunday, I can't not wear it in the AFC Championship game. And if I wear it during the AFC Championship game and they win that also, I can't not wear it during the Super Bowl. And if they win the Super Bowl,
then we have to send it to Patrick Mahomes.
Then you can't not wear it during the parade.
That's a great,
And then if you wear it at the parade, you can't just not wear it all off season.
Right, because I can lose the mojo.
You think when day one of training camp, when rookies and quarterbacks show up, you got to wear it.
Yeah.
You just have to.
You got to wear it every day of training camp. If you give a mouse a cookie, it's just a whole thing.
When you show up to do the duty that, the duty not that you wanted, but that this country...
Say duty one more time.
Duty that this country thrust on you to take a picture of Anthony Sherman's butt, you got to wear the shirt.
The fact that the payoff of duty thrust was Anthony Sherman's butt felt a little like you had maybe telegraphed your shot there. I was confused the whole way through. But anyway, I digress. That I just wanted to get that out at the front of the show. If you're listening just in podcast form or just on the radio, you can go see the picture on my Twitter account. It's really spectacular. With that being said, did I turn to Bill Self for a second? What happened there? Everybody okay? I don't know. I feel like I was buffering, which might just be sort of, Bill Self's thing. There's nothing wrong with having a little...
You just have a bad Wi-Fi connection.
That's probably it. I think what it really is that I'm just trying to move more data through my CPU than it has any capability of doing. Like if I get through a show without smoke just coming out of my ears at some point, not even like in rage, just in some form of malfunction, then that's probably a good thing. But with all of that out there, there are so many things that we haven't got to talk about until the last couple, because in the last couple of days and from the weekend and everything. So Dani Welniak, by the way, making her triumphant return to the show, because she's also back on Channel 5 again now, after having a baby. We talked to her pretty close to I was going to say B-Day, but that's short for birthday. I don't know. Pretty close to I don't know.
It was somebody's birthday.
Pretty close to Baby Day. I'll just not try to shorten it for whatever reason. We talked to her pretty close to Baby Day, and she has been. Well, we'll get all the details on how exactly the having a baby experience has gone, Because if there's a God, none of the three of us are going to be able to attest to that anytime soon. And I'm saying that for all of us. Rudy, what do you think? Beards is engaged. What kind of dad do you think Beards would be?
Oh, man. Well, so the first few years will honestly be pretty easy, I think. Because, like, not the first few years. Like, the first, like, roughly 12 months. Because, like,
The first year and a half, sure.
I was around my niece. I was around a lot when my niece was born, and so I was asked to babysit. And a large part of babysitting in that first, year really is just simply they just lay in like a chair.
Yeah, just a little.
And they don't move.
You get a beanbag and a pacifier. Bada bing, bada boom. Change them twice.
And then just sit there. I played through the Dead Space trilogy, so Beards is good. And then eventually they can crawl, and then you just make sure you lock all the doors. You cut off all the exits, and you just let them crawl around all they want.
You get the little playpen situation.
They're in a walled off area. They can crawl around all they want. It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Once they can walk,
it's over for Beards at that point, right?
It's done. It's done.
Daddy, can we go outside and play catch? We have Wii Sports in here. Why would we go out? Well, we can play tennis on the Wii that I still have, whatever year this is.
2022.
I was gonna say at least 2022, right, Beards? At least.
I don't have a Wii.
Here's the thing.
That's the problem in that story. The only thing that we had wrong there.
Here's the thing. Beards could be expecting a kid in 4 months. He wouldn't tell us.
That's so true.
He wouldn't tell us.
That's so true.
We've been down this road.
Oh my God.
Somebody just texted him, Beards, you won't get any sleep. Well, he already doesn't sleep.
Right.
And they will puke on you.
That's the thing. I'm worried about Beards. I think Beards sometimes forgets to feed and maybe clean himself. And I'm worried about you've just got to, Beards, if you could just build in some gamer breaks, which is what you can call them to kind of keep yourself sort of kind of stoked for them.
Why the heck did we go on this tangent? That's what I want to know.
I don't know,
Why
dude.
not?
I can't remember. It's because there's so much to talk about. I'm overwhelmed.
Because because Dani had a kid, and if there's any out of us three, the closest to having a kid is you.
That's what it was. Yeah. Rudy was looking at me whenever he
I
said
was
that,
looking at
and I
you,
got really
Josh.
scared until I realized that he was just talking behind him.
But Beards, you were the closest to having a kid.
But again, as previously laid out there, listen, within this show, Seth has had enough kids for all of us.
Yes.
And if we can just sort of, it was because Dani is coming on in 40 minutes, Beards. It was because it was that, and we wanted to kind of, we're going to check in with Dani, see how things have been going.
See what it's like having a kid.
We need one of you. Please remind me. I'm going to write it down right now. We need to ask Dani who she thinks would be the best father of the three of us.
Honestly, part of this I have experience to a degree. I think it's me.
I also think it's you. Yeah, I also think it's you. Beards, you got to think it's Rudy, right?
I helped
Do I
raise
have to?
Yes, I helped raise my niece. Did I one time put her on the couch because she was crying? It's like one time she was crying. This is like one of my favorite stories.
Okay.
So like it was my first night like babysitting her overnight, and so she wakes up in the middle of the night and starts crying. She's months old, 3 months maybe. And so I don't really know exactly what to like. I'm not totally prepared in this moment, right? Like I'm new at this.
Sure.
And so like I'm holding her.
Listen, you're gonna figure it out, but you're kind of
I'm holding her, trying to get her to stop crying.
You're Taylor Heineke in this moment.
We're sitting on the couch, and I kind of have her laying down on the couch. And I'm kind of sitting there next to her, and then finally she stops crying. She falls asleep, but I'm like, okay, she's laying here on the couch. I don't want to move her because I don't want her to wake up. And so I'm like, she'll be fine. She's on the couch. And then I started thinking, well, I assume like babies can kind of roll over, right? So it's like, you know what, to be safe, because like the couch isn't that high off the ground. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go sleep. I'm just gonna sleep underneath the couch. That way, if she falls, she'll fall on my chest. And it's like it's honestly, it's maybe a foot drop, right? So it's not far.
It's such a good logic, though.
I lay down. I close my eyes, and within 10 seconds, I feel a thud on my stomach because she rolled over by my stomach and obviously woke up and cried.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, this was a bad idea. But also good idea to sleep where I thought. So like. The first half was bad.
That's
the
true.
Second half, very good. And Beards, that's parenting.
You also would. It's got to be Rudy, right, Beards? Because here's the thing.
I mean, I would just have put pillows there.
Here's the thing.
See, that's not good.
It's not gonna do enough. Here's the thing,
It's too far of a
Beards.
drop.
Here's the thing.
Stack of pillows.
It's not you. And it's not me. And it's probably not Rudy, but that's
I mean, I wouldn't say
that's
good.
That's winning in a landslide.
Best.
We'll talk to Dani Welniak of KCTV5 in about 40 minutes from now, and then in about an hour and 40 minutes, we'll talk to Nick Schwerdt, who I would not let even babysit. He's the Travis Kelce sort of in this.
I wouldn't let him babysit Beards.
That's a challenging thought.
You tell me you don't think Beards needs a babysitter sometimes?
No, I'm saying would I trust Nick to do it? Beards, you're potty trained, right? I had to put my legal pad up. I couldn't look at him. I had to cover my face with my notebook. I couldn't look into his eyes. The good news is whenever I hung my head in shame there, I did find the pen I was looking for. It had fallen into my lap. So that's a pretty big victory for all of us. So I'll talk to Dani and Nick at 9 and 10 o'clock, respectively. Of all the things that happened, we will talk about the NBA stuff at some point because it's a fever dream where Harden was pretty much that turnaround happened in what, Beards? 12 hours? 24 hours? I mean, I know that it had been quietly bubbling for a while, but it feels like it went from a light simmer to a rolling boil in like 7 seconds.
It was basically Houston saying, listen, we're going to take a while. We'll trade you, but it'll have to be on our timeline because, like, we need to get stuff that we think is a good
and then
return
he didn't
value.
practice today.
And then Harden turns around after the Lakers lost and was like, yeah, no, I don't really want to be here anymore, very publicly. And then it was like, oh, okay. So they had to do it then.
The crazy thing about that is I don't feel like it tanked his value. Like usually people say, well, if you say you went out like that, it's gonna tank your value. What else could Brooklyn have possibly given up there?
Dinwiddie.
I mean,
they didn't give.
Did that surprise you?
Really?
Kyrie, that's true, but we also don't know if Kyrie is playing basketball this year.
And I wasn't shocked with Dinwiddie just because of he's out for the year with an injury. So I guess like I could see why like a team's not necessarily, even though he is like a good young player, I can see why that team wasn't banging on the door for that.
Yeah, they ended up with a bleep ton of picks. They ended up with Oladipo like that. Then where's Jarrett Culver?
He's still in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Who
are you thinking of?
Jared Allen is in Cleveland.
Jared Allen.
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said Culver. Where is Allen?
Cleveland.
Okay. How did he end up in Cleveland?
They got involved somehow. I don't remember exactly. They were just like, oh, hey, we're here too now. So now they have two centers.
They were the third team in the Harden deal.
Yes. Because
for some
technically,
reason.
because technically the Oladipo deal is a separate trade.
Right. Right.
It all falls under the
Most
same,
of our
like,
NBA analysis on this show is Rudy and Beards telling me where people are and then me getting names wrong.
And I just wish this trade could have happened yesterday because the Nuggets lost to the Nets last night. This would have been a lot better if this trade had happened yesterday. James Harden still wouldn't have played.
That's true.
Jared Allen wouldn't have been there. Neither would have Caris LeVert.
And neither would have Jarrett Culver.
Jarrett Culver definitely wouldn't have been there.
Would not be there.
Would not be there last night or tonight.
Or Torian Prince.
Too bad the trade didn't happen last night.
So maybe that is us talking about that. No, I don't know. But the main thing of this weekend, we'll look ahead the Chiefs-Browns plenty today. But throughout the course of the super wild card weekend, several things were made abundantly clear to me. One is that we got robbed from the Alex Smith game. We just got robbed. It's not his fault.
No.
Because somebody at one point had tweeted that, it's not an issue of pain management. Beards, can you just get that one Alex Smith word just to have it? I want to sprinkle it over the top of this show at some point today. It wasn't someone tweeted, it's not an issue of pain, it's an issue of is his calf functioning? Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that is crazy though. Like what calf functioning? And it's on his non-broken leg. Oh yeah. They rebuilt his broken leg partially with I'm not a doctor, the calf meat.
Yep.
Of his non-broken leg, that having some form of complication makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Beards. Go ahead.
You know what Alex Smith is? He's
soft.
That's Alex Smith saying soft, and that is not the official position of this show.
No.
But calf meat is an official term.
That's an official diagnosis.
That is the official stance.
That's awesome. Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know how this had sort of just washed over me up until that point. But I really hadn't, because we'd heard plenty about Alex Smith's calf, and there being like calf tightness. And I just, players get muscle tightness, and it messes with their ability to even end up in a game all the time. That kind of stuff happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And until the tweet about, complications or pain function, until that tweet showed up, it had not crossed my mind that, that whole procedure there may have had some impact on his calf not being totally right. Because I believe, if memory serves, they ended up putting some of the calf muscle on the shin of the broken leg. I don't think it was even calf to calf.
That all sounds super pleasant and fun.
Yeah. And I know, I like to listen to podcasts during breakfast, or even basically most meals that I have. If I'm eating alone, I'm listening to a podcast, and I'm sure that lots of people like to listen to this show through during a meal also. And so one more time, I'll just say calf meat. And also, I'm sorry that this is where, anyone who's eating during this podcast.
I'm going to save you guys. Just think of steak instead.
No, that makes it worse.
Yeah, half of his calf was used in the muscle transplant to cover his front leg of the other,
the front side of his broken leg.
The front side of his broken leg.
It's insane. Anyway, the fact that he played as much as he did is obviously incredible, but I feel like I can say both of these things pretty fairly. I was also really bummed to not have him be the guy that had a chance to win a playoff game coming off of that recovery. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm not sure he would have given them a better chance, because Heinicke played at least excitingly. It was at least kind of fun.
Heinicke just earned himself a 10-year NFL career.
Yeah, he's Matt Flynn now.
He was on his way out.
Yeah.
And now he just earned himself 10 years in the league.
Yeah, because if he can play well, one more time, 2 years, he can kind of renew his contract himself
every so often,
every few years.
And some of that's just preseason, right? Like Matt Flynn kept having big preseason games. That's really what did it for him. Like
go ahead and end of season games as well.
Yeah, you get it's week 4 of the preseason, and it's week 17 of the regular season.
Yep.
You have one solid game every couple years. You buy yourself a few more years.
Of the other non-Alex Smith related storylines, Colts Bills was pretty much everything we could have asked for it to be. It was Phillip Rivers potentially ending his NFL career with a Hail Mary that was not making it to the end zone. I mean, that was perfect. That was just you got a little bit of weird Josh Allen, a little bit of shrooms Josh Allen for just like a minute or two.
He's pretty good.
And then also he played like an MVP for the rest of the game. He had like a pitch or a failed pitch or something that went out of bounds. I don't remember what it was.
I enjoyed it on their final drive before halftime. I think there were 3 reviews on catches where the receiver just barely got his toe. Like they had just Josh Allen throwing balls on a rope and receivers just again right on the sidelines. Like it was wild.
Yeah, it was that game was just like everything you could have asked for it to possibly be, I think. And then we're kind of just like cooking through games in quick terms, and it is Wednesday, and I understand this game happened on Saturday.
We didn't have shows Monday or Tuesday. We're allowed to.
I'm mad at the Seattle Seahawks. They make me angrier, I think, at this point than any NFL-based outcome or team construction, basically since the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes. Like from that point on, like the Chiefs have been fine. They've done good work. The Seahawks just I don't know the specifics of why their season melted down. I saw some people saying, well, they played the Rams twice right at the end of the season, and they were a bad matchup for them, and the Rams defense is good and all that stuff, and that's fine. I saw some people tweeting that offense, never evolved. They had it perfect for like 6 weeks or whatever, and then it never evolved from that point forward. A nice reminder of how much working and reworking you have to do to even make Russell Wilson good. Like, you've got to be tinkering because defenses are going to figure out what you did successfully and all of that. But then in the end of season press conference, Pete Carroll has the audacity to say, well, what we need more balance. We need to run the ball better. And then he said, I bleep you not, really, we don't even need to run the ball better. We just need to run the ball more. And then their GM got a contract extension. What are we doing? Like, he said it. He gave away the game. Oh my God, he admitted that. That clip, the funny meme that I just did in radio form? He admitted it. It doesn't, for Pete Carroll, it doesn't even matter if they're running the ball successfully or not. They just need to do it more often. Why, Peter? Why? Please explain why to me.
You know why? I'll tell you why.
Because bleep me, that's why.
Because he's tired of the media trying to give Russell Wilson MVPs every year, so he's trying to stop it. He's doing the Lord's work.
Pete Carroll's trying to make sure that Russell Wilson retires without an MVP vote.
Do you know what Peter Carroll's middle name is?
I was going to Google it, and then I got distracted.
It's Clay. Peter Clay Carroll.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Peter Clay Carroll.
I don't think... Can your middle name be a single syllable?
Mr. and Mrs. Carroll? Why would you do that?
Can your middle name be only one syllable? I feel like it's got to be...
My grandfather's middle name was one letter.
Rudy and I both simultaneously did the kind of confused dog thing. Yep. I went, "Roof," and turned our heads sideways. What was his middle name?
Jay.
Is it literally just Jay?
Yeah, I was going to guess Z. Maybe an X.
You know what? Both of my grandpa's middle names were one syllable. So I guess maybe it's just an older. Maybe I feel like the middle name is where you let loose a little bit. My
mom's is one. Brenda Sue.
That's actually three syllables.
Brenda's the first name.
Oh,
Sue's
okay.
the middle name.
Thank you for explaining.
Yeah.
Thank you for pretending for 1 second that I wasn't just doing that to be a bleep hole. I really appreciate that level of.
You're welcome.
That level of kindness that you extended to me.
You're welcome.
I gotta find the. Did you download the audio I sent you, Beards? Is that ready to go?
Yeah.
There's just a lot. There's just a lot of things that we got to get to over the course of tonight's show. Is going to be very fun because there's a lot to cook through at this point. You know what? We're going to save that, Beards. That's going to be a little teaser for next segment. We'll tease great audio for next segment. I gotta get the specifics of this quote from Pete Carroll. Rudy, tell me something about Wild Card Weekend that caught your eye while I figure out why I can't find this stupid tweet.
Okay. But instead of doing that, I'm going to just read this sentence from Pete Carroll's Wikipedia page.
Okay,
After being an athlete in childhood, his lack of physical growth as a teenager caused him frustration in high school sports. Weighing just 110 pounds as an incoming freshman, he was required to bring a special doctor's clearance in order to try out for football. I like that this Wikipedia page lets us know that his size caused him a lot of frustration growing up.
And he still wants to run the ball.
Well, yeah, because that's what the physical people do. And he just wanted to be a big boy. That's what the big boys do. He tried out for the Honolulu Hawaiians of the World Football League.
Really? What position? Did I miss that?
He played quarterback, wide receiver, and defensive back in high school. Let's see. After high school, he went to junior college. And then the University of Pacific, free safety. He's a free safety. He used to sell roofing materials in the Bay Area. But he found he was not good at it. Soon moved on.
I mean, I guess he found the thing that he was better at, theoretically.
He just still wants he just misses Reggie Bush. He's just still trying to capture that rush back. Where all he had to do was just be like, hey Matt, go give that ball to Reggie.
Noted power runner Reggie Bush.
Hey Matt, just give that ball to Reggie.
We'll talk. We got to take a break regardless. Beards is nodding like a madman. Why don't you listen, Beards? Why don't you just make sure my mic is on and off when it's supposed to?
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Championship Barbecue is now available at your fingertips with the new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue online ordering app. Place your order for the legendary Z-Man or Rocket Pig sandwiches, slabs of ribs, or a burnt-end dinner right now. It's just a few clicks from your smartphone, and your order will be hot and ready for curbside pickup. The new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app is perfect for a weeknight dinner with the family or feeding your entire office. So don't wait. Download the brand new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app today.
Breathe cleaner, fresher air with help from Menards. Indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. Best Air's 4-inch pleated air filters have a specialized filtration that ensures the best overall performance of your HVAC system, giving you cleaner air throughout your home. Pleated air filters are available in a variety of sizes for $14.99. Save big money now during Menards Project Day sale. Prices are good until January 16th.
Save big money at Menards.
This weekend, the action continues with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 with the Rams and Packers.
Woods wide open, makes the catch of the 5, strolls to the end zone, touchdown LA.
Then it's the Ravens and Bills at 7:15.
Jackson dives, and he's in! Touchdown, Lamar Jackson!
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Our friends at American Shaman have a smoking hot new product I'm just burning to share with you. Shaman Smokes come in a pack of 20. They're available in cherry, grape, menthol, and original unflavored hemp. So when you're feeling the drag, spark up a Shaman Smoke for the satisfying and relaxing effects of legal hemp. Shaman Smokes are not intoxicating and contain absolutely no nicotine. Ask for Shaman Smokes at your favorite convenience store or pick them up at your local American Shaman. Shaman Smokes from American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
Stop in at Mr. Brew's Tap House in downtown Overland Park or Lawrence this weekend to watch all the NFL playoff action. Overland Park and Lawrence's newest pubs are having great specials for the big games. Get any signature burger and a side of house-cut fries for just $8.10. Plus, get one of their fantastic pretzels or pub grub, also just $8.10. The $8.10 specials are good all day this Saturday and Sunday. Mr. Brew's Tap House has over 30 beers on tap and multiple TVs to catch all the games. So stop in this weekend to watch the NFL and take advantage of the $8.10 specials. Mr. Brew's Tap House in downtown Overland Park and Lawrence.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
My mom said that she's listening to this out of Alexa. She's doing a live broadcast from her cell phone, laptop, car radio, and Amazon Echo Dot. She said we've come a long way from those old staticky transistor radios, and she would know because those were invented in like her early 40s.
With Joshua Brisco.
My mom got mad at me for saying that she was 40 when they invented radios, but she said I did good math.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Beards, what's the name of this royalty-free music?
This one is called Brother Man.
Here's a headline from The Comeback on Twitter. James Harden's Houston restaurant, 13, set to open January 22nd, 9 days after his trade to the Nets.
I did see that.
Well, maybe not everybody did. Beards, maybe play along. Had you seen that headline, Rudy?
I had not.
You know what? Hey, Beards, not everyone's seen that headline.
How do we think opening night's going to go?
How did he decide he was going to open a restaurant until every single American had 2 vaccines? Right? Like, it just feels, we all know. These are unprecedented times.
Elegant and classy to go.
I mean, I would like to see. Can one of you look in to see if Rudy? Can you see if you can find a menu? Because I would love to know what James Harden has gotten into and or what has gotten into him. Because he's going to Brooklyn. He got out of Houston, but he did it thickly. And so I would just like to know, like, is every item fried mac and cheese balls?
So I'm clicking on Houston, going to an article on houston.eater.com.
Yeah.
But a little snippet I saw is that it will be a fine dining menu.
But you can get everything covered in cheese.
The restaurant is helmed by Chef Tobias Dorzen, former professional football player. He's worked as a personal chef, cooking for star athletes like LeBron. Tell me if one of these names sticks out to you.
Okay.
If one of these names is not like the other.
Sure.
LeBron James,
Yep.
Deshaun Jackson, Tyrod Taylor.
All elite professional athletes.
I would say one of them's not a star, but star getting his lungs punctured.
I was
sure.
gonna say the only thing that's saying that to me is that only one of those guys had his lung punctured by a team doctor.
This sentence, as previously reported by Eater, getting into the restaurant business is sort of a natural fit for Harden. Apparently, he's frequently spotted at a place called Turkey Leg Hut. Houston restaurant, Turkey Leg Hut.
Is that what they're classifying it as, a restaurant?
Eatery, I guess.
I think there are two ways you can read into that, and they're both pretty good jokes. You either have James Harden visiting Turkey Leg Hut, the home of the turkey leg wrapped into a Pizza Hut pizza, and then you have James Harden, a frequenter of Turkey Leg Hut. Either way, it's pretty funny, I think.
So as far as the menu at 13 is concerned, look forward to decadent upscale riffs on comfort food dishes like fried. There's a
is there
typo here.
fried mac and cheese ball?
It says fries spiced. I think it's fried spiced.
Man, this place is off to a great
fries
start.
Spiced with Old Bay and drenched in Maryland crab cream sauce, deep fried red snapper, and a Harden-inspired dish called the Sun Devil, which involves roasted oysters topped with cream collard greens and candied bacon.
Plus a side of candied bacon with an entree platter of candied bacon.
Everybody gets a bib and it's in the shape of Harden's beard.
Ooh, that's good.
Actually that's actually pretty
That's
good.
a pretty good idea. Yeah. That restaurant cannot do well after James Harden just basically is like, I don't like it here. Bye. Like that restaurant is still going to open in Houston. Do we give that 6 months? I feel like they can't just shut it down.
I mean, he's got some money that they can keep it going for a bit, but
tough break. Here's some quotes from Pete Carroll. Ben Baldwin.
Peter Clay
Carroll. We have to run the ball better. Not even better. We have to run the ball more. I know the fans aren't jacked about hearing that. Here's some other quotes via Ben Baldwin. I want to see if we can run the ball more effectively to focus the play of the opponents. Frankly, I'd like to not play against too deep looks all season long. I want to win controlling the game. That means controlling the football.
So if you want to, here's a little evidence of how Houston fans react to restaurants in their city. Aisha Curry opened up a restaurant called International Smoke in Houston in 2018, and it got flooded with 1-star reviews by Houston Rocket fans. So something tells me, International Smoke closed in December 2019. So lasted, at minimum a year, I would say. Yeah, if it opened at the latest in December of 18. So yeah, let's just say I give this a year. Houston fans not happy.
One of the most tense moments I've ever had with Seth Kaiser revolved around us talking about Andy Reid not being more aggressive on 4th down. And it was just to the point of I was saying, listen, these are examples where he definitely should have gone for it more. And then Seth said something about how, I just assume that let's try to assume that not every NFL head coach is an idiot, or the NFL head coaches aren't idiots, I think is what he said, which I was not implying about Andy Reid anyway whatsoever. I thought that was unfair. Put me in a bad mood. This has also happened on Times Ours. Our wonderful producer, Danielle, edited out part of the awkward silence. Not all of it, but some of it. And it was still pretty long in the final cut.
Still a lot. 13 is hiring, by the way.
They need a spokesman. They need someone who plays basketball in Houston. Or football, I guess. Do they have any football players left in Houston?
No, okay.
Is there anybody for the Texans with the number 13 jersey? I mean, that's the easy fix.
And it really got to a point for me where, and this was a while ago, we're good. South and good. We got it all figured out. Everything's okay. But it was sort of around this talking point of where I felt like where there was maybe too much credit being given because of the position being held. Also, within this, in the same kind of category, Seth and Ethan Douglas and Nate Taylor all wrote an excellent story a while back about how controlling the clock is not a way to beat the Chiefs.
Brandon Cooks, number 13.
And one of the reasons that I think it's so frustrating to me is because there are instances like this one where Pete Carroll absolutely thinks that if you possess the ball for 35 minutes, it's the golden snitch. You just insta-win if you possess the ball for like 40 of the 60 minutes. If you can just fall on the ball and snap at the end of the play clock, you can shorten the game and impose your will. Boom, instant champions. It's so frustrating. There's no reason to think about it this way. Like, just for a second, because, if I was going to say I think every team should pass the ball more, that might sound like Pete Carroll saying he wants to run the ball more, but that's because throwing the ball is inherently more valuable and inherently more successful across the league than running it is. If you want to tell me they just want to run the ball more often without any metric for if it's successful or not, you've got to be able to explain why. And if the reason why is to focus the play of the opponents, it's a bad reason.
Momentum.
What?
Momentum. That's the reason
Momentum.
why. Momentum.
I thought he was wearing number 13 for the Rockets now. Do you have anything else on the...
I don't know if this is actually
Perfect. Run with it, baby. Run with it.
It says number 13. This can't... No, yeah, this is in Galveston. Okay. I was just... Because I was trying to see if there was
Galveston, you mean?
Yeah, Galveston.
Momentum.
I was trying to see if there was an actual... like menu out there, and so there's a restaurant called Number 13 in Texas, and like one of the things on it is shroom and eggs. I was like, is this James Harden's restaurant? It's not.
What's his first name?
James Harden.
Got it. I feel like that name should be James. I think you had it right the first time. I feel like his name. I feel like
my throat's like. I'm sure. I don't know. If
How
you can
weird
hear
would
it
it be if your name was Rudy?
Clearing my
you know.
throat, pretty frequently.
No, I have. It's we gotta fight through it. I guess Beards' name is a plural already, or has an S at the end. But it's hard to. How many? I feel like not that many names end with S's. I feel like we should probably have less of those, other than Beards.
I feel like there might be more names than we.
Probably.
Like I feel like that's an S at the end of the name is not necessarily something that you. That like sticks out, because I would assume it's pretty common, so it kind of blends in. Chris, James, Douglas.
That's my dad's name.
Beards.
Chris James Douglas? Your dad's name is Chris James Douglas McFly? How did I not know that? Such a specific and long name.
Travis.
Beards, do you have the tweet that I forwarded you? Can we play that?
The audio from that?
Yeah, the issue is that I've closed the tab with it, and I'm not going to be able to properly give it credit. Can you say where the tweet came from? And
No,
I think
closed that. I just have the audio.
Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, we're going to play that audio.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful, energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
With twice as much time in the home this past year, it's time for a deep cleaning. Zero-Res Carpet Cleaning is the leader in no-residue cleaning, proven to remove more dirt than any other method out there. Your carpets will look brighter, feel cleaner, and because of the Zero-Res no-residue method, they stay cleaner longer. Start the new year right, and let's clean 2020 out of our homes. Right now, get 3 rooms clean for just $93. Call or schedule online at ZeroResKC.com.
Drive for the win and score huge savings at your Kansas City Acura dealers. As Kansas City makes their playoff push, we're pushing out deals, deals, deals on award-winning Acura SUVs and sedans. For a limited time, score jaw-dropping lease deals and low APR offers on the all-new 2021 TLX sedan and the 2021 RDX crossover SUV. The MVP has arrived. Pre-order the all-new redesigned 3-row 2022 MDX SUV and experience the future of luxury performance. Visit your Kansas City Acura dealers today.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just wonder how much the Browns can possibly have in the tank after what they've been through.
I think the Chiefs are a deserved double-digit favorite, but I do think the Browns have a chance just because they've got a pass rush and they've got the running back.
There are a lot of fans of Kareem Hunt who are still on the team. These guys like Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt made his own bet in Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Paid for by Bank on Yourself. Would you get on an airplane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing? You may be riding that plane right now. If you have your money in a 401k or IRA and you plan to take out the recommended percentage each year when you retire, your chance of running out of money is 50%. 50%. But there's a better and safer way to secure your income in retirement. Discover how in a free book called Rescue Your Retirement. This wealth building strategy has never had a losing year in more than a century. In fact, even the man who invented the 401k now prefers this method instead. Get Rescue Your Retirement free for just a small shipping charge and enjoy a safe landing and a comfortable retirement. Get this free book and make sure you don't run out of money. Hurry, this offer is extremely limited. To get your free copy, just go to growwealthsafely.com. That's growwealthsafely.com to discover how to rescue your retirement. growwealthsafely.com.
This weekend, the action continues with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 with the Rams and Packers.
Woods wide open, makes the catch of the 5, strolls to the end zone, touchdown LA.
Then it's the Ravens and Bills at 7:15.
Jackson dives, and he's in! Touchdown, Lamar Jackson!
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
All right, so this show's been weirder than usual.
I'm currently just in need of a special teams coordinator, so if you know any thick special teams coordinators, send my way. I'm doing research.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Twitch comment from Chaotic Warrior says, so you're saying time of possession is the most important thing in football? Do I hear you correctly? Go to hell. Beards, what is this this most recent Fall Out Boy ripoff? What is the name of this royalty-free song?
Unparalleled. It is also classified in here as hip-hop.
It shouldn't be. That should be in the EDM folder or whatever, I think.
I mean, if it's classified as hip hop,
that's because I put it in totally possible. Yeah, no, that's completely plausible to me. I just telling you now, that should probably go in kind of the EDM folder.
Well, that's okay. There's just one folder, and it's called royalty free.
Whatever works for you. That's
cool.
fun.
Remember when Beards had Billie Eilish in the EDM folder, I think?
I don't remember, actually. That doesn't ring any bell for me whatsoever.
Actually, Josh, I think you put that there.
That doesn't seem like something I would have done.
Yeah. Well, it would have been something I would have done.
Here's this tweet from, it was tweeted out by Tony
the Tiger
Aganoli. This is from the SEC Network, an SEC Network game. A little back and forth here between the studio and the guys calling the game. Go ahead and hit that, Beards.
Teams right now between Alabama headed into Rupp Arena. We'll also talk about Tennessee-Vandy game being postponed and first half analysis. Now, I kind of want to know a little bit more about Tom Hart's dog, Larry, actually.
Well, we had to put him down a few weeks ago, Peter. Thanks for asking.
Goodness. Oh, man.
Just the last 5 seconds or so again there, Beards, if you could. You could just bite me off a little piece there.
Well, we had to put him down a few weeks ago, Peter. Thanks for asking.
I think my favorite part of this is right before he starts, he goes,
Yeah,
it's the
leaving the very last bit of the guy from the studio there. Just give me the kind of last.
Now, I kind of want to know a little bit more about Tom Hart's dog, Larry, actually.
Well, we had to put him down a few weeks ago, Peter. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking is might be my favorite bit.
Terrible.
Whew. Whew.
So terrible. So good.
I mean, there are times where, you know, on whatever the last show of the week would be for us, typically now again Fridays, but you know, right at the end of the show, if we don't quite land a joke or whatever, you know, something goes. The last show of the week doesn't feel quite right, whatever. Sometimes I'll you know, at least carry that with me into the drive home and be like, man, we really could have ended on a higher note this week of shows. Not going to be back doing another AES for a few more days. Yada yada yada. Whenever you make the play-by-play guy tell the world that the dog that you just brought up had to be put down a few weeks ago, thanks for asking. that has to weigh on you for a while.
And then go call again.
Well, we had to put him down a few weeks ago, Peter. Thanks for asking.
It's just absolutely brutal.
Brutal.
Hit it again, Beards. Dani Welniak of KCTV5 is next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB. The most NFL and Chiefs coverage in Kansas City. Dozens of exclusive weekly guests and news conferences, including ESPN's Adam Schefter, Trent Green, Tim Brunhard, Jeff Chadia, Adam Teicher, Kevin Harlan, Nate Taylor, Bob Glauber, Field Yates, Stan Weber, Mark Borichter, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes, the official broadcast partner of the National Football League. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
When do you think about your insurance? Chances are it's when you're paying your bill or filing a claim. At Briar Payne Mead, we always think about your insurance. It's what we do. Buying a car, having a baby, building a home, starting a business. Then it's time to call BPM at 913-681-099 or visit us on the web at bpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-681-099. That's 913-681-099.
Hello, this is Corbin Hoggenberry with Complete Home Concepts. We want to take a moment to thank all of the 810 listeners who have supported us over the years. We are looking forward to seeing you in our store again soon. Thank you for all of your support from Complete Home Concepts.
It's time to light up a new year, 2021. We have exhaled 2020 and time to savor a fresh change. This is Kurt Diebel with Diebel Sportsman's Gallery. A great cigar can change your attitude, surroundings, and year. Plus, it can encourage social distancing.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
I just wonder how much the Browns can possibly have in the tank after what they've been through.
I think the Chiefs are a deserved double-digit favorite, but I do think the Browns have a chance just because they've got a pass rush and they've got the running back.
There are a lot of fans of Kareem Hunt who are still on the team. These guys like Kareem Hunt. But Kareem Hunt made his own bet in Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810, WHB.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810, WHB. Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Hello there, I'm Mark Robbins. James Harden has gotten his wish to come true. The Houston Rockets have traded the disgruntled NBA superstar to the Brooklyn Nets. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne broke the story earlier today. It's a 4-team deal involving Cleveland and Indiana as well. The key to it all, Brooklyn giving up 4 first-round draft picks for Harden. That is a lot to give up. But Kevin Durant wanted him. He believes he's worth it. But just think about it. Just how good will the Nets be with Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving? He's coming back, right, Malika Andrews?
Slow down. Remember that this is no longer a decision for Kyrie Irving. It isn't even a decision for the Nets because it is in the hands of the league at this point, Stephen A. The league is reviewing to see whether or not COVID protocols, their health and safety protocols, were broken. If they deem that they were in those videos that were circulating at a family birthday party, then he could face a quarantine, and that would further delay his return to the court.
That's ESPN NBA reporter Malika Andrews. The Nets played with just 9 in uniform tonight, still beat the Knicks 116-109. One of the 9 in uniform, Bruce Brown, 15 points and 14 rebounds for Brooklyn. And about to tip in about 10 minutes on ESPN and the ESPN app, New Orleans at the LA Clippers. Over on ESPN2, a Big 12 battle going on right now, late first half. Number 4, Texas at home, leading 15th ranked Texas Tech 44-33. They got a little more than 2 minutes left.
Hi, it's Greeny, and James Harden has been traded to the Nets in a blockbuster deal that shakes up the entire power structure of the NBA. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more with me Thursday. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You're so dumb.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Such a rude liner from such a rude person. Dani Welniak is on the phone right now. We can't go to Dani yet, though. Beards, what is this royalty-free music bed called?
Game on!
Yeah, it is. Game on! Dani Welniak of KCTV5 joins us now. You can follow her on Twitter at KCTVDani. You can follow everything that she does on Channel 5. Dani, first of all, do you remember calling us all dumb?
Wow, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Half of the stuff that comes out of my mouth when I'm with you guys, I don't remember the context of, and who knows? It could have been about a purple dolphin for all I know that I called you guys dumb. So I would apologize for it, but I feel like it definitely was supposed to happen.
Yeah. I think you have the exact right perspective on that, which is that out of context, none of it's going to make sense, but you've got to believe in yourself that you in that time were very justified in whatever it is that you said or did.
Yeah, because you guys are not dumb, and I'll say that right now. I know you guys are not, you do not lack intelligence because we have you on our airwaves just about every night on our Drive to 55 special. So if you were dumb, I would not incorporate you into that. So from that perspective, you guys are very intelligent, and I think you're wonderful. So there's that.
I'm really excited for Beards. Go ahead and cut that, and then just you can, however you need to edit that later to have Dani say that we are dumb, we lack intelligence.
Oh, by the way, believe me, I already had that thought.
Yeah, okay. I was just making sure. I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page and that you weren't working too hard to miss that liner will be here for next time. First, Dani, last time that we talked to you on this show, you were pregnant, and now you have a child, which I guess means everything went well.
Yeah, I am still alive, and she is still alive, so I would say that's a win for the Welniak household, and she's wonderful. You know, I'm just learning how to be a parent, and my husband's been incredibly amazing and supportive, and she's been as easy as a baby could be. So it was a tough week last week when I came back off of maternity leave, had to drop her off at daycare for the first time. There were tears shed, but it has been joyful ever since.
But eventually your husband stopped crying and got over it. Is what you're saying?
Correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Has there been a moment in the last? I don't even know how long it's been because this last year or so has both been 1,000 years and 7 minutes. So I don't even know what the timeline is. But has there been anything in kind of these, early days of parenthood, we'd be like, oh God, nobody told me that this was going to have to be something that I worried about, or this was more challenging than I expected it to be, or maybe something that you went, I got this. Actually, this is easy.
I think changing diapers was one of the easiest things that I was really concerned about, but it actually just is super easy. Changing diapers is no big deal. But I think that the whole fact that babies poop so much was definitely something I did not expect. And her name's Cameron. Poor little Cam has just explosive poop, and you cannot miss when she takes care of business in her diaper. I think everyone in the entire building that we're in can hear it. So I was not prepared for that.
I mean, it's the right answer, though, I think. Now I'm thinking about if we can just get the big voice guy saying almost entirely sports and just splice in immediately after Dani talking about how now almost entirely sports has explosive poops. Pretty much. I feel like the imaging possibilities out of this are incredible. That is something that I have heard multiple times, is just that there's just more poop than you would expect something that small to make.
Yeah, there's more poop, there's more drool, there's more spit up. I can't tell you how many mornings that I have gotten up and, I've gotten all dressed for the day, and immediately after feeding her, it's just covered in white spit up and already digested milk, and you have to go through 2 or 3 different outfits in a matter of 1 hour. And I was not prepared for that either. But yes, there's a lot that comes out of those little bodies.
Yeah.
That's just a normal morning for Josh.
Yeah, I'll get that. How do you think I walk out of the house looking like this if it's not my 3rd or 4th outfit of the day? I just live a very sort of messy existence. No, what I was actually thinking was the fact that, I would absolutely refuse to live with, a dog or a cat who sheds, because I don't want that in my life. And so the idea that you just have this little... this waste creating monster is just absolutely terrifying to me.
But at least it's relatively contained, though, because you know that it's going to be in a diaper or it's going to end up on you, and it's not a puppy taking a poop over on your bed or in your bed or in your shoes. So you at least know where she's going for now. I mean, she's barely able to roll over, so who knows? When she starts crawling, there might end up being poop in our shoes.
Which at that point, the spice of life and whatnot. I guess that gets spun into a positive. Okay, last sort of baby-related sort of check-in thing. This ended up being not even an argument, really, just a conversation that we all worked towards the same end of earlier. And we should also ask, we'll talk to Nick Schwerdt of KLWN in an hour. We should also ask Nick this, because he'll have no reason to have a good answer. But Dani, you actually have the experience to be able to point us in the right direction here.
Okay.
Between myself, Beards, and Rudy, who would be the best and worst father of a baby? You can't speak beyond baby level. We're saying baby level exclusively.
Wow. Okay. So I do think that Brisco probably would be the best dad, because you're just so animated and your facial expressions make me laugh.
Thank you.
So I think you would definitely be able to entertain a baby.
Okay.
I think, Beards, I'm sorry, but I don't think it'd be tough for you to be a dad. I mean, you're awesome, but I don't know how much you would be able to keep them entertained. That's the big thing right now for us, is just keeping them on our level and making sure that they don't get fussy. So I could see Beards allowing children to get fussy and then just being like, whatever, you can sit there and cry it out. Fine.
I mean, that's so. 2 follow-ups. 1, he does that to me, so he would definitely do that to a baby. 2, can little baby Cam hold a Xbox controller yet?
She's getting there.
Okay.
She's now able to hold her pacifier. So it's a smaller scale than an Xbox controller, but I don't think that's too far away. I think that's definitely coming soon.
Beards, you look like you wanted to defend yourself and then sort of slunk away again. I'd like to invite you back to the microphone.
No, I'd just say, I'm hurt.
But also, she's right.
Yeah, she's right.
I was going to say, how wrong am I? I think I hit it right on the head from knowing you guys.
Rudy and I both agreed that Rudy would be the best father just the whole way through. Rudy's got big dad energy in like a healthy way.
I've also I also have a niece and a nephew, so I've done the baby thing. Like I've changed the diapers.
I've never changed a diaper.
It's
I've got 2
terrifying.
younger siblings. I never changed a diaper.
I'll be honest. Changing diapers is and part of this because I don't do it on a daily basis.
I've never changed anyone else's diaper. I want to at least be factual. Well, Dani, we're glad to have you back, and glad to hear that everything is going well, just with more sort of gross things than maybe you had expected. But if that's the biggest drawback at this point, it seems like things are relatively positive.
Yeah, no, it's that now finding that work-life balance is crazy because now everything has to be scheduled around her and what time you get her to daycare and what time she eats and what time she goes to bed, rather than saying, oh, I got to make sure that I'm at work at this time, or I've got this extra thing that I'm going to come into work for. No, you have to be there for her because she can't take care of herself. So now everything revolves around her instead of revolving around work. So that's been kind of a mental shift, but it's also been a good thing because I'm back in some kind of routine, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people like routine, some people don't. I don't know, Brisco. I don't know which one you and Beards are.
I mean, but which one is Beards? I guess is the good question. Rudy likes a little routine
For sure.
Rudy,
I'm a routine boy.
Rudy's definitely a routine boy. I'm probably a little bit of an out of routine boy. Beards, do you like a routine? I feel like
it depends on what. I'd say I'm more in the middle.
Beards likes specific things. Beards likes certainty, which isn't exactly the same thing, but it's pretty close. Also, the other terrifying thing, Dani, that we realized earlier is like Beards is engaged, and so Beards is like within sort of striking distance.
It could come at any moment. It truly could happen at any moment.
Because when Beards went to go get engaged on a trip to New York with his now fiance, we knew he was going to New York with his girlfriend, and then all of a sudden we found out on Facebook. We found out on Facebook. That we didn't even get a text immediately after. We found out on Facebook, Dani, that our baby Beards was engaged. We found out.
That's unacceptable.
Todd Lebo got a screenshot and texted it to us off of Facebook.
Yep.
What?
It's unbelievable.
It's upsetting.
Wow.
I'm still holding a grudge.
Was he concerned that you guys would spoil the surprise?
You're right there, Beards.
I didn't tell anybody except my family.
So we're just not. I would have said that this show was like family to me, and that's just not what Beards would say, I guess.
Yeah, it's fun.
That is so dark and twisted.
I know, it's really messed up. But now the real concern is just like
he may already have a kid.
There could be a secret baby. There could absolutely be little Beardses running around right now.
And you would have no idea.
I would have no idea. And until Lebo ended up finding out about it on Facebook, I would have no idea. Rudy, we go look at Beards' Facebook and just see if in like the family section or anything. Just make sure, I guess. I don't know. I'm worried about it. This has been a really emotionally draining 15 minutes. I just realized that I felt tired on just sort of how this has gone so far. I also had Taco Bell at 7:45, so that might also be part of it. Dani, of all the things that we talked about over the first hour of the show, we didn't have a show the last couple of days, so we just got back in the saddle and had 6 wild card games, a blockbuster NBA trade. We haven't even mentioned we barely mentioned KU losing a close game last night. The college football playoff championship came and went, and it was at least the second half was kind of a snoozer. Of all of the things that have just whipped through, and the Chiefs have a playoff game in a few days. What from the last 4 or 5 days caught your eye as something like, oh well, that's the most fun or most interesting story to you?
Wow, that's putting me on the spot considering there's so many things that have happened. I guess I'm going to pick 2 things.
That's fine.
The first thing is I think the Heisman from a national perspective is really cool that a receiver won it in Devontae Smith. And it's like the first time since Desmond Howard that a receiver won the Heisman. And me being a former receiver myself, I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
So, part of history witnessing that. And then also the 2 triple headers for wild card games was phenomenal. That needs to happen more often now, and I'm glad that the NFL has brought that into fruition. And watching the Bears-Saints game was phenomenal on Nickelodeon. So I think that also needs to happen, except there needs to be Nickelodeon broadcasts of other things like news development or things that are not necessarily sports, so that it can be dumbed down for those of us people who know a lot about sports and want to learn a little bit more about like news things.
Could you just imagine just like the Senate votes on something and then there are slime cannons? I mean, how good would that
exactly.
How good
Mitch
would that
McConnell
be?
getting slime is everything the country needs right
It would
now.
heal. Listen, we are living in divided times. If we could just slime Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi, bipartisan sliming.
Absolutely.
Listen, that slime's not red or blue. It's green.
It's green.
I think that would heal this nation with slime.
Absolutely. I'm telling
I love
you, man,
that
it would
idea.
make everything a lot more lighthearted. And if you had like the kid reporter who's in there in the Senate, like interviewing everyone after they got slimed, like, whoa, how crazy is this?
Yeah.
I just think it would make a world of difference.
I think it would be so good.
I'm just imagining now they're doing the stuff from today, and then just young Sheldon's head pops up. Impeachment is when.
I mean, I feel like we really found something. I feel so silly for even leaving the national championship game as a potential topic. Because I don't know how much of the Nick game you did watch on Nickelodeon. I watched literally first to last whistle. I was there for the pregame show because I was either gonna watch Phil Simms or SpongeBob, and Phil Simms had no shot. So I watched the whole thing on Nickelodeon. What were your viewing habits on that one?
No, I watched the entire thing on Nickelodeon because I was just so intrigued by just the fact that I am so out of the loop now. But Nate Burleson did phenomenal as the color analyst, and he brought my generation into it. And he was bringing up stuff like Legends of the Hidden Temple, and then the girl who's apparently a huge star with like the younger generation was talking about like iCarly and a bunch of other Nickelodeon shows. And I'm like, I now feel super old because Breland brought up that she mentioned that something happened the last time something happened or some history was made in 2000, and the girl was like, yeah, that was before I was born. And all of a sudden we both looked at each other like, wow, I didn't think we were old, but that statement just made me feel very old. So we got a lot of entertainment value out of just everything that was going on in that broadcast. And we even stayed to the end to see who the MVP was, the Nickelodeon VP.
Yes!
And it turned out to be Mitchell Trubisky.
It was Mitchell Trubisky!
He played okay, but like he definitely did not deserve that award.
So good. The news from 2000, that was before I was born thing, must be it. We must be like Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees watching Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson playing football. Like that must be how they feel at all times. It's like, oh, I'm washed. I didn't even realize it yet.
Well, we were looking up some stats yesterday, and apparently, like the Baker Mayfield is the oldest quarterback in the AFC playoffs. But then over on the NFC side, you have Drew Brees and Tom Brady and even Aaron Rodgers, if you're kind of pushing the envelope there. All three of them are technically old enough to be the fathers of the quarterbacks in the AFC, which just blows my mind.
I mean, you said I had heard the Baker Mayfield is the oldest of the AFC quarterbacks thing, but what I just did is I just Googled how old is Baker Mayfield, which has now made me realize that I would be the oldest quarterback in the AFC right now. And that really hit me like a ton of bricks. The good news is that Beards and Rudy can't say anything because they're both older than I am, so I'm at least safe in this room, but not by much.
It hit me when it really hit me was seeing that there's a player by the name of Patrick Surtain Jr. I have a Patrick Surtain jersey, like a Chiefs jersey. I have his dad's jersey. Like this, it was one of the first times where it was really like, oh God, dear God.
Yeah, this is coming for me. We're all shook now because we're all kind of realize we're just sort of staring down. The Beards is just saying that the girl who was doing the I don't know how to describe her other than the 15-year-old girl, but the point was that she is 15. The 15-year-old girl during the Nickelodeon game is 15.
Also, she accidentally got sent Tony Romo's 800-page packet for game notes by CBS.
Is that true?
Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome.
That
I
is
found that out while I was
hilarious.
trying to figure out how old she is.
That
is awesome.
That's very funny. Everybody in that whole crew did a very good job, but I imagine her getting to page like 15 of that.
Oh, no, so I've got the article here. It says, her mom sent us this email that said, hey, Sean, what do we need to know from this 800-page packet?
That's so good. Every word. You're a professional now. What was her name? Was it Gabby? It was short for something else. Is that right, Beards?
Gabrielle.
That's fine. That's good enough. You're a professional now. Gabby, get to page 785 and tell me that's not good stuff. How much of that do you think Romo reads?
All of it.
I think Romo is about to ask for the Nickelodeon research booklet. I think he's like, give me a one sheet and we'll make this work. But I seriously, I really was like, Rudy was saying that I was apparently down on the Nickelodeon broadcast at one point. I have no memory of that.
When the announcement was made, you were not like, you weren't jumping for joy. I do remember.
I guess that's fine. I don't remember that, but
you weren't trashing it.
I watched the whole thing, and I was impressed both as like someone who knows what's going on already and enjoying it, but I was also impressed on behalf of all the people who would have been tuning in for one of the first times. Like they kind of did a little like refresher course, kind of holds your hand and help you along without ever being patronizing about it, which I feel like is really hard for a lot of people to do in pretty much any circumstance. I really do think that like your Thursday night football games may as well have a Nickelodeon simulcast from going through next year, because what does it hurt? You're pulling some SpongeBob reruns for a few hours to put an NFL game on there. I think that makes sense for everybody.
Yeah, I think it does too, because it was so fun, and I think it got a ton of viewership, and I know Twitter was blowing up in regards to it. And I loved your point about the fact that nobody was necessarily patronizing. Like, it was all dumbed down, and it sounds terrible to say that it was dumbed down, but it was dumbed down for people who aren't necessarily NFL fans. Yeah. And what perfect opportunity in this era in which, most parents are keeping their kids out of full contact football for a lengthier period of time and maybe not letting them play until they're in high school. But what a perfect time to reach out to that audience who hasn't necessarily been introduced to football in a way that a lot of us as kids were. So I thought it was great. I thought they did an awesome job. And even like the most outlandish questions from Gabby, I think you guys said her name was, like she asked Nate about, what do players do when they have to use the bathroom? And I thought that was a very logical question, because we had just gone on and on about Lamar Jackson and him using the bathroom and then coming back out and having a fantastic game. So why not ask that question when there are little kids who are wondering, like, hey, sometimes I got to use the bathroom too. So what do these NFL players do for 4 hours when they got to go? And I was like, okay, I can get on board with this. This is fine.
The craziest thing for me that it sort of didn't strike me until way afterwards is there was one time where someone tweeted about Tony Romo, and I was kind of tempted to flip over to the CBS feed to see that. But then I also remember that the game at that point was pretty much out of hand. But the thing that I was sort of interested in that maybe could have waves beyond, putting games on Nickelodeon and might be more about what we're doing with the games we do have on other channels. This isn't true probably for the Sunday Night Football crew, and it's not true for Romo and maybe, Kevin Harlan, but specifically most of the color commentators, not the play-by-play guys. I think generally all do a pretty good job. But I while watching the Nickelodeon kids broadcast with a 15-year-old and Nate Burleson kind of playing to a younger audience, there was really not a moment that I thought, I wish I would have had analysis from, I'm going to use Dan Fouts because he's no longer in the rotation, and I don't think anyone here knows him personally. I remember being so frustrated, or I'm afraid to keep naming names. We're going to stick with Dan Fouts and just kind of get all of our damage into one little lane. I remember being so frustrated with some stuff that he or most color commentators would
just go
say
after
at different
Aikman,
points.
You coward.
I remember hearing Troy Aikman say all this dumb stuff, and I didn't feel like I was getting a dumber version of NFL broadcast watching the Nickelodeon version, which I think should probably send up some red flags at CBS because I didn't miss, Solomon Wilcots.
That's such a good point. That's a very good point, because I think it also gave us a different perspective. And I know there's a lot of times here in the news industry that they teach us to write to a fourth grade reading level.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of put that into perspective and you think, well, that's what most of society wants to listen to. And in all honesty, now watching that broadcast, recognizing that you don't necessarily need it to be so in detail that you need to know how that the left guard's pulling, or, the secondary is doing this, or the coverage breakdowns. Like, we can do that, but it was almost kind of refreshing and nice to just be able to hear it at a very different level that made it very, very simple to digest. So I think there's a lot to be said about that, and just kind of our industry as broadcasters and sports broadcasters in general.
Yeah. Because I just feel like so often, and there are different times when I feel this way, and you probably do more so. You probably feel this way more often and more so than I do, because you know more about the intricacies of what's actually happening on the field than I, or pretty much anyone within the sound of our voice does, because you did it. But like the times I either want to soak up and enjoy the fun of it without having to hear a bunch of dumb cliches for literally just to fill time, or, whenever Collinsworth gets out the telestrator and is saying, look at the 6 things that happened to make this play work, that's fascinating to me. And I'm usually interested in hearing that. Or let's just have fun watching football together. But I feel like 90% of like live NFL game coverage exists in the middle, like 20% of that bell curve that's just sort of flavorless. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Because a lot of us in the sports media world, I think we really appreciate the intricacies and like the Collinsworth breakdowns on like a telestrator, or, the circles and the routes and everything that gets, broken down for us, because it's stuff that we don't necessarily see all the time, because we're spoken to and coach speak a lot.
Yeah.
But for it to be a little bit more fun and just kind of not naive, but just kind of pure and just kind of enjoying the game, I think it's different, but it's definitely fun. And I think that's why a lot of us enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. Dani, thank you. This half hour just like flew by. I just looked at the clock and it's like, oh, it's 9:28. Oh, we have
and we've
to
been
take a
talking
break.
about a Nickelodeon broadcast and babies. Perfect.
Yes, it's absolutely perfect. So we need to let you go. But first, do you have a bug fact?
Of course I have a bug fact. Yes.
I have. That was a hopeful hypothetical question. I now have a real question for Beards, which is, do we have a bug fact music bed? It's been a long time.
I think we do. The question is, do we have a bug fact royalty-free music bed?
Do we need a new bug fact? What about Rudy's original creation? It's not your original creation, Beards, but Rudy's original creation that he made and makes every time might be in there somewhere.
It's in my folder.
Is it?
It is.
He's making it right now. It's going to be in his folder as soon as he's done.
The question is that new one that I'm making a royalty-free?
Yes, that Rudy made.
Okay.
Is a royalty-free.
It is royalty-free.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
It's not going to be Beards' royalty-free, genius, because Beards is very litigious. This is what I was expecting, actually. Who made this one?
I did.
Okay, very
This is
good.
my royalty-free music.
Now it's time.
Rudy, thank you.
Now it's time for Bug Facts with Dani. Thanks for the help, Beards and Rudy. Thank you guys for coming along with me on that ride.
I did my part.
The host screams, and I was the crowd that was going to scream. And Beards does nothing.
Dani, the stage is yours, mostly because I'm gesturing a throat-slashing motion to get Beards to turn off Rudy's microphone.
The oldest insect fossil goes back 400 million years, suggesting that insects were among the first animals to transition from sea to land. So, insects were around a good 170 million years before dinosaurs came onto the scene. So there you go. I wrote that out just to make sure I got it all perfectly right.
So the first living things in this world were on land were insects and Ben Roethlisberger?
Well, apparently all the quarterbacks in the NFC.
No, that's right. All the core. Well, right. That's good. I was thinking for Ben Roethlisberger, it's because he also would have had to have crawled out of some muck at some point to sort of slowly evolve.
You think he would have survived that comment?
I think right now he's about 90% of the way throughout his evolution from sort of blobfish to human being. We have to take a break. Thank you so much, Dani. It was so good to talk to you again.
Thanks, guys.
Dani Welniak of KCTV5. Follow her on Twitter at KCTVDani. You can check out all of the things that Channel 5 is doing as we lead up to the Super Bowl. You might even catch a glimpse of my beautiful face and red suit jacket at some point. So you follow all of their coverage leading up through the playoffs to the Super Bowl on Channel 5. Follow her on Twitter at KCTVDani. I'll tell you what. If Solomon Wilcots, Dan Fouts, or Ben Roethlisberger listen to this show,
or Bugs,
do we like Bugs? This is a pro
like
bug.
Some Bugs.
This is a pro bug show,
We
generally
like some
speaking.
Bugs.
I don't really like bugs.
We appreciate bugs on this show. This show is pro bug, pro rodent. You know, pro like possums and
that's definitely
raccoons
not true.
And
Raccoons are okay,
and all of that sort, and also bugs.
Better than possums.
They all eat bugs, by the way. It's the circle of life.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year out right. All of their sandwiches and pizzas are made with their baked fresh from scratch sourdough bread. At Schlotzsky's, they offer curbside, drive-through, socially distanced dine-in, catering, and delivery. And remember, the Schlotzsky's $24.99 lunch and dinner special for a family of 4. Any 4 medium sandwiches or pizzas with 4 chips and 4 cookies for just $24.99. Available at all 5 area Schlotzsky's. Funny name, serious sandwich. That's Schlotzsky's.
Get ready for the Chiefs and Browns with all-day coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It begins at 8 a.m. with Chiefs Tailgate, then Josh Brisco hosts our Red Zone Playoff Special, and Seren takes over at 11 with the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show. After the game, tune in to the best post-game show in town, featuring the latest from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and your phone calls. The best Chiefs coverage is right here on your home for the NFL playoffs, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hindsight is 20/20. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You know what they're probably not going to talk about on ESPN? On ESPN Radio that gets potted up here in a little bit? Too many Spider Boys.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This song sounds even more like a rip-off, royalty-free version of a track from the most recent, not good Fall Out Boy album. This sounds like the beginning of a song called The Last of the Real Ones, which is actually a fine song. What is this royalty-free music band called, Beards?
The Last of the Real Ones.
No,
it's not. It's called Respect Yourself. None of that around here.
Thanks again to Dani Welniak for joining us. Go ahead, Rudy.
So I know, obviously, trashing Hall of Fame quarterbacks is obviously a brand of yours.
Yeah.
Dan Fouts is really bad at quarterback, man. For his collegiate career,
yeah,
he completed 50.4% of his passes, 37 touchdowns, 54 interceptions.
Well, Rudy, that's in an era where they do good things like run the ball.
And throw interceptions.
His NFL career, he had 254 touchdowns, 242 interceptions.
Oh. Completed
58.8% of his passes.
Oh. Oh. Hasn't Mahomes had I don't think Patrick Mahomes had a game with less than 50% completion percentage, right?
Probably true.
I think he has done it every single game.
I think we did that stat on the postgame show, and I think that's right.
Because Drew Brees had just lost his streak against the Chiefs. And Mahomes, I think Randy Gisarelli may have had that tweet first. Wow. That is...
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, listen, his work as a broadcaster is undeniable.
It's true. It's true.
I really do think that there's something interesting to learn from the Nickelodeon thing. Because we hadn't talked about that yet, but obviously we just talked about it with Danny.
Quarterbacks are trash?
All of them. Nate Burleson is my quarterback.
But Nate Burleson could throw a football better than Dan Fouts.
That might be true. I think Noah Eagle might have a better... He definitely has a better quarterback name. Are you kidding me?
Oh, absolutely.
But this is relatively genuine sort of sports media criticism, I suppose. Not that it's not going to be funny at any point. Not that I would ever promise you that this show will be funny at any point. But seriously, the thing that didn't really hit me until after that game was over. I legitimately, by the way, I think it was the first or second time that they made it into the slime zone, and the giant CGI slime cannons popped up.
Yeah.
I pumped my fist in excitement because all I was rooting for at that point was the slime zone.
It's always better with slime.
It's just always better with slime.
Always better. If there's one thing I've said over and over again, if there's one thing I'm known for on this show.
What's the thing?
It's always better with slime.
It's never not better with slime.
The slimier, the better. That's what I always say.
That's what Rudy always says.
Love some slime.
Anywho.
I love slime.
But that, the little kind of kitschy things like that were fine, right? The thing at the beginning of the game where hey, here's a quick sort of glossing over the rules and everything. The only time that I was ooh, that was kind of cringy, I think was the first punt. Look at this, it's going to be exciting. Look how high he's going to kick this ball. And then the 15-year-old said oh, wow. I was no, kid, you're just watching Saints Bears. It gets better than this. But that was it. And really what genuinely struck me after the fact was that we watched a game targeted for 15-year-olds, basically. And I missed Romo a little bit. I like the little Collinsworth breakdowns, like I said with Danny.
Yeah.
But so many of your CBS, Fox broadcasts, and I'm not even really thinking of anyone specific, because I think most of the ones that I really just got annoyed by over a long period of time, I don't think do NFL games anymore.
We're also fortunate with the Chiefs being a good team.
That's a great point.
They typically get the best broadcast.
That's a great point. I'll tell you this.
We don't really have to. We're not stuck with that backup.
The 5 squad, which actually we were in week 17, and I could not tell you who it was. I don't remember. And that's kind of part of it, though, is that
Spiro. I have no idea.
That so much of the
Spiro Agnew?
Spiro Deides. or Deeds. I don't know how you pronounce the last name.
I think it's Adidas.
Adidas.
I think it's like
I think you're actually
Adidas
right. I think
minus
you're right
the.
I actually like Spiro Adidas, actually. I kind of like him.
A lot of good names in play-by-play.
Yeah.
Spiro Adidas. What did he not work with Iron Eagle at some point?
Spiro?
Ian and Spiro? Maybe we just had back-to-back weeks. Go from Ian to Spiro.
I don't know if they.
Iron Eagle,
I
Spiro
don't know if they've
Adidas.
done a broadcast together, but like
They're both CBS guys,
they definitely
right?
hang out at the water hole. You know, that Sparrow and that Eagle. They definitely hang out at the water hole together. They are CBS guys.
Hang on. Wait a second.
No,
Get the audio. The audio
Come
portion's more
on.
important, Beards, than the visual.
No!
Come on.
Just
Why
get
is
the.
that on it? Why is
I
that
legitimately
denied
thought.
to me?
I legitimately thought you were trying to make that joke.
You can
like
you
that.
can give him the shame zoom, but I need the audio element here, Beards. It's an audio medium for the most part.
Listen.
Did you not move the shame audio over at some
Oh
point?
no, I wasn't going to use
it's
that.
there.
I was going to use something else. I was going to use the loser audio.
Oh.
Which
Loser
when we upgraded to the new system, there's a hotkey error, access denied for station WHB AM.
That probably got put in down on the
Spiro
ESPN.
did Baltimore and Cincinnati. I've got
Do you have the shame bells, Beards?
got the lead
Just
set
hit him with the
here.
shame bell so I can move on.
Shame.
The eagle and the
Kevin
sparrow.
Kugler and Brock Heward. That's who we had.
So I'll use Brock Heward here.
Kugler's not bad.
No. I'm not even going at the play-by-play guys.
Weird thing about Brock Heward, one of my first days working here, I sat in that chair and Brock Heward was sitting in this chair. It was when I was
Why?
interning for Petro. He
Okay.
He was probably here to do a Chiefs game, is my guess.
Sure.
And he was on with the program.
So I say this with being a Brock Heward agnostic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think that for the most part, the guys that end up in the color analyst chair or headset or whatever, you have a couple guys that become stars in their own way, which, by the way, like what Dani was saying about kind of just being able to relax and enjoy football, Romo, that's one of the reasons Romo has been so successful, is he epitomizes that, but he does it in a smart way.
Yeah.
Collinsworth has fun with it, but he's also teaching you things, showing you things that he sees in 5 seconds that would take you 5 minutes of rewinding and scrubbing through game film to see it all at once. That's useful. But your typical NFL broadcast is a almost always good play-by-play voice telling you what you're seeing, which you don't really need in most instances, but whatever. You know, we've grown to expect it though. And so you can say, you know, Le'Veon Bell up the right side, brought down after 2. That'll be 2nd and 8 coming up. Back to you, Brock, or whatever.
Going off that real fast, I was watching Everton had a game yesterday. They had technical difficulties. So for the first 7 minutes of the game, there was you hear the field audio, but you couldn't hear the announcers. It's weird.
It's weird, absolutely.
It was weird watching a game that I don't need them to tell me what's happening because I can see it with my eyes, but not hearing a voice was weird.
But it's something that we've grown to expect.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we are so used to it that for 7 minutes I was like this. I need a voice. Bring me a voice.
Ian Eagle was on with the Lebitard show a week or two ago, when they were still officially wrapping up with ESPN, I think. Mm-hmm. And it might have been longer than that, actually. Within the last month. And he's, by the way, do you know what Ian Eagle was probably going to end up doing if he didn't end up in sports play-by-play?
Roof salesman.
Being awesome.
Stand-up comedy. And he's funny. He's a genuinely witty. I don't know if you can pull off stand-up from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But his parents were both in showbiz or whatever.
Okay.
And he was a really good interview. But he talked about how, we get very tight spaces to work in, and really, for the most part, you want to make yourself not the show. We had me and Seth and Nate had Louis Riddick on Times Ours before the Monday Night Football Chiefs-Ravens game, a few months ago, and he might get a GM job at some point. He's smart and he's a good TV presence and all that, but the spaces that he works in, even as an analyst, who I think does a really good job, the restrictions are so incredible there that you can only learn so much, even from the best of the best broadcast booths. It's a hard job. Mm-hmm. But I think, and so what Ian Eagle had mentioned is look, I am here to not get in the way and to not be the show. I'm just here to, help you sort of consume it. And a lot of people who are great at that job think about it that way. And I understand why. That's how we do it. But I would like to live in a NFL world specifically where your broadcast is either actively making it more interesting or more fun. And if you can do both, fantastic. But the Nickelodeon thing was like, everyone was wearing bomber jackets in their Nickelodeon-themed play-by-play booth. It was a little bit unbuttoned in a very purposeful way that is way more how you would watch a game that's not your team playing in it, right? But if I could get, and some of the ESPN megacasts have leaned into this a little more recently. If I can get the, give me Mina Kimes and get the NFL Live megacast crew or whatever, and then someone from the coach's room where they're looking at the film in real time. If I can get all sorts of smart information that is willing to step on the toes of the play-by-play sometimes or whatever, then that is actually enhancing the viewing experience in a way that I just don't know if really any current NFL broadcast teams do that. Not even well, just like at all, like purposefully in any way. It seems like for the most part, their goal is to be, they are chicken. And the rest of the game is that you got the seasoning. The flavors are coming from the game. We are here to take on whatever it is that's happening around us. We're just here to beef it up a little bit, which is sort of an ironic phrase for me saying that they're chicken. They're whatever. You get it.
Now I want chicken.
When do you not?
When have you ever not wanted chicken? I don't think you stop wanting chicken as soon as you finish a large plate of chicken. You just immediately are ready for you like.
That's fair. I did have some lunch.
For lunch today?
Yeah. Why are you surprised by that?
because you sounded like a man who had been starved.
Who hadn't had chicken in 24 hours.
That you were on you were on the Castaway Island, and instead of a volleyball, you had
Slim's plate.
You had one. Like a cup from Slim's that you had drawn a face on.
Well, it has a face. It's a chicken and a hat.
Do you think if you ever did shrooms or something that you would meet some sort of chicken hallucinogenic experience?
Absolutely.
I feel like you would. I don't know if it would be sort of a.
I think it would be a chicken getting revenge.
Let's do this on Twitch. Beard, do you want to do shrooms on Twitch?
Not really.
Tell him it's chicken. He won't know the difference.
I don't know. I feel like you would, but I also don't know. I could not compare and contrast chicken and
He'll
shrooms.
never know. He'll never know.
He would see a mushroom and be like, not in this house, not in this mouth of mine.
Put it inside of a chicken, Just cut a little hole into the chicken, put the mushroom in there.
I think it would be. I think it would be a Christmas Carol sort of Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Chicken Past, Ghost of Chicken Present, Ghost of Chicken Future.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you would come out on the other side, and the first thing you would go do would be to go to Slim's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
And enjoy some more chicken.
Yep.
Like that trio of ghosts would have like a 1,000% batting average on converting people to vegetarianism,
veganism,
until you, and then you are eating chicken in the dreams. Was Scrooge dreaming?
I mean, I guess that depends on how you're looking at it.
It really does, doesn't it?
He wasn't in the Muppets version, I'll tell you that much.
Like in theory,
it
could have been a dream you all had, and none of it was real. Or you know what? Ghost could have came and visited him. If you're gonna tell me
and dragged him through time,
if you're gonna tell me that ghosts can't time travel, I mean,
that's the whole point of that ghost. It's the ghost of Christmas past.
If you meet a ghost,
if it can't go in the past,
there's
it's kind
a good
of
chance that ghost can time travel.
Yeah, it's a useless ghost of Christmas past then.
Wait, are you guys under the assumption that ghosts can time travel?
I'm saying if there's ghosts, why can't a ghost time travel?
I'm saying if it's called the Ghost of Christmas Past, it better dang well be showing me the past.
Well, it could have just been from the past and told you about it. Hold
well,
on.
That's dumb.
Hold on. Can
Who's
ghosts?
Who's to say that ghost is telling the truth then?
Hold on.
Why am I going to believe this ghost that just popped up and said, "By the way, I'm from the past"? And
I think Scrooge had a guilt dream. I think is what it was. I think it was all a very vivid dream.
You probably have some shrooms.
I think ghosts can time travel.
have we ever talked about the idea that ghosts can or cannot time travel? That feels
Who's
like
to
a
say?
pretty huge accusation to throw out there.
Who's to say?
I mean, the ghost of Christmas present can't time travel. He's stuck in the present.
You don't know that.
Or is he just visiting the present?
He just chills in the present. He's just here about the now. He's not worried about regrets in the past. He's not worried about things that may or may not happen in the future. He's just like, hey, I'm just here in the present. I'm chill.
Well, you know he's gonna stay.
Or he dies when he goes too far into the
Can
future.
ghosts die twice?
He aged. Didn't you watch the Muppets version?
I actually did this year. I think I think I watched it the last
it's great.
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, you know how you can be sure that particular the ghost is gonna remain in the present. Rudy, do you know what? How?
How, Josh?
I don't know, Josh.
Just don't unwrap him. Then he'll stay in the present.
Oh my God.
Loser.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
If there was ever a year to bring back real romance on Valentine's Day, this is the one. A gift of colorful, fine jewelry from Shane Company will dazzle and delight. That's because we're known for our natural gemstones, rubies, sapphires in over a dozen colors, blush morganite, aquamarine, and more. I recommend a pendant with an impressive pear-shaped gemstone. Choose garnet, amethyst, or London blue topaz. Surprise her with the matching earrings. Come see us or go online to find a whole spectrum of colorful Valentine's Day gifts in a wide range of prices. Let's bring back romance. Wake her up with pink sapphire earrings as bright as the sunrise. Or wait until twilight and give her a heart pendant set with rubies as romantic as the sunset. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Menards is here to help you turn your house into your home. Updating your bathroom is a great way to express your style. The Ensemble shower from Sterling has a 3-piece modular design that will fit right where your old shower once was. These showers offer plenty of storage space with built-in shelves. The 60 by 34 Ensemble shower is $494.97. Save big money now during Menards Project Day sale. Prices are good until January 16th.
Save big money at Menards.
Rock your home with new tops from Kansas City's best countertop fabricator, Rock Tops. They custom fabricate and install stone surfaces that will make you fall in love with your home. Making homes look incredible is Rock Tops' thing. Being nice just comes naturally. Rock Tops offers carry-out samples and virtual or in-home appointments. Call 913-782-0802 or go to rocktopskc.com. Mention 810 Rocks to receive 10% off right now.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just wonder how much the Browns can possibly have in the tank after what they've been through.
I think the Chiefs are a deserved double-digit favorite, but I do think the Browns have a chance just because they've got a pass rush and they've got the running back.
There are a lot of fans of Kareem Hunt who are still on the team. These guys like Kareem Hunt. But Kareem Hunt made his own bet in Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I don't know if today was a really good show or a really trash one.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I like this one a lot.
This might be my favorite.
This one sets a really good vibe, I feel like. Beards, what is this royalty-free music called?
It's Space something.
It's Space Adventure, the remix version.
Space Adventures.
I feel like this might be the only one from the whole thing that I would just like throw on the, like actual headphones while I'm doing something else.
I'm gonna have to color code this one.
We all on the same page on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all feeling this.
I think this
great.
is the best one.
I don't think you should be. I think you should really truly randomize them. Not even go 1 through however many we have. What was that? Was there a little baby?
I heard something in there.
There was like a little baby wham.
Was that Cam?
Was that
Cam?
Was that Dani Welniak's baby Cam? One of the reasons that we're doing all the royalty-free music now, and that is a new part of us in the show. Rudy, I have another question for Nick. Go ahead, say the thing.
Oh, Avs got the first goal of the season.
Did you know that hockey started tonight?
Hockey started tonight. Avs are the favorite to win the title this year.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until Rudy told me right before the show.
I saw a Twitch comment, and that was my.
The Avs are the favorite to win the title, and their center, Nathan McKinnon, is the favorite to win the MVP.
Thanks. So the reason we're doing the royalty-free music is because you can watch the show in a variety of places, and including Twitch now, twitch.tv/sportsradio810, and we don't want to get DMCA striked. So twitch.tv/sportsradio810, youtube.com/810WHB, facebook.com/sportsradio810. And we need to get Twitter figured out, because I think the Twitter sort of transition's happening.
Also, the video quality should be better now.
Yeah, it's better. Ha!
There's also the text line, 913-912-4810.
You can see my shirt on the live feed.
Somebody says, nice shirt, Josh.
That's actually that's what I was going to read. I think LMAO meant loving mini aesthetic options. Thank you.
Yeah.
G.E. Metzel. Also, Chaotic Warrior says, embrace it, Josh. Hockey's fun. I had a great time last December.
Yes.
I went to a Lightning game in Tampa Bay. It was great.
Great sport to watch live in person.
They also scored 6 goals. They had a whole little sort of electricity kind of thing spiking off the
I gotta watch
roof.
them. The Avs played in Nashville in 2008. It's
great.
It's so much fun to watch live.
Yeah, it's very fun. Also, there's lots of talk about, the Chiefs playing a playoff game and whatnot, and that's something that we will talk about more in the minutes, hours, and certainly days to come. We'll cover a whole lot of bases. We also talked not at all about KU's loss to Oklahoma State last night. We'll talk about all of that with Nick Schwerdt of KLWN next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB. This weekend, the action continues with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 with the Rams and Packers.
Woods wide open, makes the catch at the 5, strolls to the end zone, touchdown LA.
Then it's the Ravens and Bills at 7:15.
Jackson dives, and he's in. Touchdown, Lamar Jackson.
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds, a strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain? Well, listen carefully, because there are new breakthrough treatments now available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative cell therapies from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line. This is Stephen St. John, and these revolutionary treatments not only alleviate your pain, they speed up the healing process. We're talking regenerative cell and platelet-rich plasma therapies, all new solutions that really work. If you've got pain in your knees or your shoulders, hips, or lower back, you may be able to avoid invasive surgery with these proven non-surgical options. Call now and schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. If you've got chronic pain and you want to avoid surgery and steroids, call QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line. Call now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City's favorite sports station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there, I'm Mark Robbins. The move some said had to be made has been done. The Houston Rockets trade James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets today. Brooklyn giving up half the borough just to get him. 4 first-round draft picks and then some. This is part of a 4-team whopper of a deal, with Brooklyn sending Karis LeVert to Indiana, the Pacers sending Victor Oladipo to Houston, and Cleveland getting involved as well. So a bunch of teams dealing several players and a ton of picks. So in the long run, say 5 years from now, who's sitting prettiest, according to ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks?
Houston. I think, and I think there's so much unknown because of the picks. And I just look at where Harden and Durant are age-wise. You know, they're in the prime of their career, but 5 years from now, I don't think that's going to be the case. And with Houston, let's hope those picks turn into something.
That was Bobby Marks earlier on Spain and Fitz here on ESPN Radio. Right now over on ESPN, New Orleans playing the Clippers in L.A. No Zion Williamson for the Pelicans. He had an inconclusive COVID-19 test, so he's taken another one, and we'll have the result in the morning. They're playing on ESPN. Over on ESPN2, Big 12 battle, Texas against number 15 Texas Tech, and the 4th-ranked Longhorns lead it by 2 with 6.5 to go. Opening night in the National Hockey League, the Cup on display in Tampa, and the Lightning open up with a big win, 5-1, beating Chicago.
Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant together, the most prolific trio of scoring the NBA has ever seen. Oh, we're going to break down that and more Thursday on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We'll talk to the man who made that voice in just a second here. Nick Schwerdt of Rock Chalk Sports Talk on KLWN in Lawrence will join us here momentarily. But first, I'm shouting out a couple of comments on our Twitch stream right now because I want to remind everyone that you can watch the show in a variety of places now on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitch. Jayhawks fan, PHAN. With a Z, there's a Z in there also.
K-State grad. Love those
K-State grad, Jayhawks fan. Asked how long 810's been streaming on Twitch. We started it right at the end of 2020, basically, to try to work out the kinks, and then kicked it off in a big way at the beginning of the month. And he says that that's very cool. He used a potty word that I will not say on the radio, but you can say them in Twitch comments if you want.
Yeah, you can.
Because it's the Wild Wild West. But then he said, now I just need AES to go all night. And what we can do is we can go to 11. We can do 3 hours whenever you want to drop us in.
I like sleep. I mean, here's the thing: if you want to, like a lot of podcasting apps have a replay function.
Great point.
You can just listen to it on repeat all night long. That's cool.
Go
check out some old shows.
The Twitch feed. You can just go back and replay it. You know, you miss anything, you can scrub back through it. Archives on Twitch and on YouTube and on Facebook.
I just like sleep.
Anyway. You can watch us in all those places. And right now, if you're doing it, it means you're about to hear Nick Schwerdt. Again, Rock Chalk Sports Talk on KLWN in Lawrence. Nick, I'd like to start this off by making sure we get a sufficient number of questions to you. How do you feel about some rapid-fire questions to kind of get the blood pumping?
Is that a question about questions?
That's exactly right, but it's rapid fire, so I need a quick no, you know what? This one take your
Yeah,
time, actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I feel good. I feel good about it. Go ahead. Give me whatever you got.
Beards, do you have Rudy's delicious original creation that is royalty free, or did you close it? We have it. Hit it. Nick, are you ready?
Yes.
Can ghosts time travel?
No.
Was Scrooge dreaming?
No.
Between me, Beards, and Rudy, rank us from 3 to 1 as to who would be the best dad.
Rudy 1. Yes. Josh 2. Beards 3.
It's the correct answer. It is empirically the right answer. Slime, yes or no?
Double yes.
Did you know the NHL started tonight?
No.
Are you? Our Nick Schwerdt soundboard is really struggling right now. We gotta get better production. Last one, Nick. Are you older than all 4 remaining AFC quarterbacks?
Yes.
It's really upsetting. I realized that I was tonight also. All right, that's the rapid fire portion of the show. Beards, do the thing where the music gets loud and then quiet. Perfect.
I didn't know if I was supposed to go into greater detail on my answers, or did I do a good job?
No, it was perfect. It was perfect, and you definitely got the dad ranking correct. The only thing that's confusing to me at this point is that Beard still seems offended whenever everyone agrees that he's 3 out of 3. But again, my fear is just that he's already a successful father and has a 4-year-old that we never got told about, and that, it would explain his eating habits.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I had a friend I knew for 3 years before I realized he had an 8-year-old son.
Wow.
There's just like sneaky dads like that. And actually, it's nothing personal to Beards. It's just that Rudy's clearly number 1.
Yep.
Like, I think that's pretty definitive.
Yep.
And from there, I've just had greater interactions, like just volume-wise with you than I have Beards. So I just need more one-on-one time with Beards before I could give a definitive answer.
I don't think you really need that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
I don't know if you want that.
You did nail it in one. Now, could you expand a little bit on what kind of dad energy that Rudy radiates that makes you so confident? You're correct. Again, I do not want to make it seem like I'm disagreeing, but I'd like more information there.
Wait, Rudy's not a dad, correct?
I am not. No.
That we know of.
I would tell you.
Okay. I don't know. It's sort of a calming presence, just level-headedness, just like he's going to be stern, but he's going to be fair.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great dad quality.
Yeah. And Beards would just throw chocolate chip cookies into the crib.
I'm eating those myself. How dare you?
You would throw the the peanut butter cookies into the crib.
He would throw like oatmeal cookies.
Yeah,
the cookies he doesn't like.
Yeah, that's correct. How you doing, Nick?
Josh, I don't think that you would be like. It's not that I think you would be a great dad or a bad dad per se. I feel like you're going to be the type of dad who's trying to have like your son's crying at the mall because you won't give him an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit him down for a 10-minute conversation about why you don't always get ice cream cones when you want. You're going to say, listen, son, let's take some inventory here, okay? We've been at the mall all day. It's 11 a.m. You haven't even eaten lunch yet. Meanwhile, your son is bawling and crying, and you're just sort of breaking it down tactically for him, which you'll learn from it, but that's what I see you 10 years from now as a dad.
I think that's a really good read. Like, that's sort of, I think that you basically just made the case for me to finally just go find a therapist, because you sort of explained me back to me, better than I ever could.
Yeah.
I think I would have, high highs and low lows. Like, I think there would be, I'd have like a week, where I was just really 360 no scoping just dad life and really, really doing some great work. And then I would have a solid month where I was just trying to see if someone would casually adopt it.
Like, your effort's going to be high.
Yeah.
I don't question that whatsoever. it may take you a while to sort of adapt to talking to somebody with, somebody that doesn't have a fully functioning or fully developed brain.
Disagree. Beards is right here.
Eventually you'll get there.
The only issue there is that Rudy and I both, you might have heard our tires rev because that was such a telegraphed alley-oop, and we both wanted it so bad.
I guess it's just dump on Beards.
That's why I didn't say it. I thought I had said too much, honestly.
Hey, Beards, I want everyone to hear me say this, just so you know. I think you have a fully functioning brain, all right? I just want you to know that I think that about you. This is the second time tonight I've made a joke, or I've said something to Beards and had to look away. Also, I can't look into this.
Quiet. Is he sad over there? Come on.
I don't know. Beards, come defend yourself. Come yell at Nick.
I'm okay. I'm doing fine.
Tell Nick he'd be a bad father.
I mean, I don't know that for a fact.
If you threw me into that pool, I think all of a sudden we start rethinking, is Rudy a runaway favorite?
The fact that your Twitter avatar is you in a collared shirt really makes me I
trust him to watch my kid.
I would leave both my child and my 401k in the hands of the man in your Twitter avatar, which I do not feel that way about you, the person that I know, but I feel that way about the man in your profile picture.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's a pretty accurate sort of telling of my public profile.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I'll make a great dad, but I will make one hell of a stepdad, and that's sort of my dream, is just to sort of inherit a couple 8-year-olds who want nothing to do with me.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that feels
sound good.
That feels about right. Yeah. The only issue is that if it ultimately ends up coming down between you and Rudy, you're out of luck, man. You are SOL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not debating. I just thought I wanted to sort of toss it out there and see how you guys received it, but it's pretty clear. Nobody's taking down the galactic Death Star.
Yeah.
That is Rudy, just destroying everything in his path.
You're probably number 2, though. I think that again, it just depends on if it's the guy in the avatar or not. Now, Nick, I don't want to change the subject too drastically, but I heard you're really into dunks lately.
Oh, don't even get me started on dunks. Are you kidding me? Okay, listen, man. Let me go ahead and. Are you guys familiar with the dunk corollary?
I don't know that I am.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
So.
Okay. All right. Strap in for this one. So, there's a man by the name of Tully Corcoran.
Hold on. I only got one. I got the thing over my head, but I haven't buckled it in yet. Okay, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm strapped in.
Strapped in. Okay. Everybody good?
Yeah.
There's a man by the name of Tully Corcoran, and he used to be the KU beat writer for the Topeka Capital Journal, and he is the one who created the dunk corollary. And the basic theory is that dunking is one of the hardest things to do. There are very few humans who can do it. And even when you get into basketball, professional basketball, college basketball, even in a game, like KU on average will dunk 1, maybe 2 times per game. It just doesn't happen all that often. Therefore, if you can dunk, or if you are a team that dunks a lot, you are very good. If you're a team that doesn't dunk very often, you are very bad. And it's not just open court dunks. It's not, hey, fast break, there's nobody over here, I'm just going to sort of barely tap it in. It's half court, there's no play to be made, the possession's almost dead, and you save it with a dunk. The best teams dunk all the time. Alley-oops. Who was it last year? KU. Best team in the country? Who did they have? Udoka Azubuike. What did Udoka Azubuike do more often and more efficiently than any player maybe ever in the history of basketball? Dunk. And what were we saying going into March? That KU was the number 1 team in the country. I remember I came on this show after the NCAA tournament got canceled, and you asked me, should that team just be given the national championship because they were so good? Why were they so good? Because Udoka Azubuike dunked everything. This Kansas team, not that great. You know what else they don't do? They don't dunk. Ipso facto, they need to dunk to success. You know who dunks a lot? Baylor. You know who dunks a lot? Texas. Both those teams, better than Kansas. This is the dunk corollary, fellas. I hope you guys have your notepads out, because I'm moving quickly here, and I'm not taking questions right now. But Kansas needs to find a way to dunk early, dunk off. It's so simple. You just go to the basket, and you dunk it. You jump up, and you put it in. Like, we can't waste our time with these teams if they're not just going to get out there and dunk the basketball. You feel what I'm saying?
Sorry, I just put my headphones back on after strapping in. What did I miss?
I can't repeat that whole thing. That was sort of a one-through. I kind of blacked out there for a second.
Yeah, so did I, but I thought it was from all the G's because of the roller coaster, the dunk roller coaster we were riding. Okay, so yeah, I followed you through all that. I wrote down the word dunk on my notepad. In fact, I'm actually going to write dunk more equals good. What prompted this for you? Why is this the headspace you're in right now?
Okay, so going into the TCU game last week, right after KU had gotten throttled by Texas, I think they were 8-9 games into the season. I don't know exactly what they were at, but they only had 14 dunks. They had 7 against TCU, which just happened to be their best performance of the season. Is that just a coincidence, or do you think the dunk corollary, should I say, had something to do with KU looking as good as they've looked all season long?
I'm in on it.
I'm just giving you facts.
I'm in on it. I think so far this is good. How many dunks happened against Oklahoma State? Is that what we're working towards?
I think it was only 2 last night, and one of them was Christian Brown on a fast break off a steal with nobody in front of him, which we don't count those.
Did this in any way sort of... I'm just still... It feels like you put a lot of thought and energy into this, and I want to know what the inciting incident was.
I think it was just simply watching David McCormick, who is 6'11", 260 pounds, who continually catches the ball 4 feet away from the basket and is almost going out of his way to get farther away from the basket. A jump shot. It's like, dude, you're the biggest guy on the court 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Why are you shying away from contact? I was watching this Texas Tech game earlier, and I see Texas's big man, who's 6'11", 210 pounds. He catches the ball, he dribbles it once, he turns around and dunks it. Because he's somebody who understands that dunking is a valuable trait to possess. It's so frustrating sometimes watching Dave play, and hey, he played well last night. He scored a lot. But those buckets aren't easy. Like, when you're turning around for hook shots, when you take 15 hook shots a game, those aren't high percentage shots, and they're not shots that game after game you can expect to hit at an efficient clip. And if that's your best form of offense, you're not going to be a very good team. If your best form of offense is giving it to Udoka Azubuike, having him put his butt into somebody, turn around, and dunk in your face, you're going to be a good team. And Dave is not Doak, but he's also not Jeff Withey. He's not some string bean who's going to get pushed around down low, despite the fact that he really plays like he's 6'5", despite the fact he's one of the bigger guys in the country.
Along those lines, David McCormick's field goal percentage has gone down every year he's played college basketball. He's under 40. He's at 45% right now this year.
Seems good.
But that's up. Like 2 weeks ago, it was at like 37%. He's actually on an uptick right now. And I don't even know if I've really noticed any differences in how he's playing. He's just, the shots he was breaking earlier in the season are going in. But I'm not convinced that that's a sustainable style of play.
Is that going to change? Like, the fact that we're at this point that we are with David McCormick, and you're still pulling your hair out at the times that he makes life more difficult on himself than he needs to. That feels like something that could have happened in some really limited freshman David McCormick minutes, and we're not there anymore.
So it's kind of like I just said. Like, last night, KU was down by 16 at one point in that game. In the second half, when they got back into it and ended up getting the game tied, it was in large part because David McCormick took over the game. They were feeding him the ball. He was turning around and making shots. It was really effective. And KU got it back to a tie ball game with about a minute and change to go on paper, but there was nothing else working offensively. Jalen Wilson, who had been a godsend earlier this season, was completely ineffective last night. And I think it just comes down to a general philosophy of what your identity as a team is going to be. Because I posed this question to somebody earlier this week. I said, if you were explaining to someone who hadn't watched KU play all season long and you were to describe them, what is their identity? What do they do well? What do they hang their hat on? I don't know what you would start with.
Yeah.
I literally would not know how to answer that question because I don't think this team has an identity. And I don't think they have a niche. They don't have a defining characteristic because they're not a great team. They're a top 15 team. They're a top 10 team. But go watch Gonzaga play. Go watch Baylor, Michigan last night, who throttled Wisconsin, and Texas, who's playing right now. They may end up losing, but we saw what happened when those two teams were on the court together. Kansas isn't to that because they don't have an identifying quality. And I don't think simply saying you're going to throw it down to David McCormick 15 times a game is a trait. It's not enough. You need a guy who can go get you a bucket. You need to be more versatile, more dynamic in the half court. Jalen Wilson, the problem is Jalen Wilson and David McCormick don't complement each other whatsoever. So as we kind of near the halfway point of this season, I do think Bill Self and his coaching staff are kind of at a crossroads where they have to figure out if they're going to continue to just say, yes, we want Big Dave to be the guy who's getting a lot of touches offensively, or if they say, you know what, screw it. We're 2 games out of the Big 12 race. Baylor, Texas, they look like juggernauts at the top. Let's experiment. Let's tinker and understand that while it may not work in the short term and it may cost us a game here or there, long term, it gives us the best chance to find a way to have a quality, to have an identity as a team that it may not result in being the best team in the country, but it may give you the chance on any given night to beat any team in the country. And I don't think the way they're playing right now gives them that.
This is not directly correlated to any of the issues you just touched on, but it's something that I genuinely like. This is not a fake question where I know the answer and want you to explain it to the audience. I would love for you to explain, if possible, why KU seems to have at least long stretches where their fast break transition defense is like hard to watch. And I don't understand, I don't think, how that can fluctuate. It seems like it did last night where it was an abomination in the first half, and then it kind of stopped being as much of a problem in the second half. Is there a rhyme or reason for that to you?
Well, I think, if you were to ask Bill Self that, he would say it's because of effort. He was really frustrated after the game last night, and he used the word disappointed, but then he expanded and said, disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in what I have sort of demanded of these players defensively. And he mentioned transition defense. Coaches like that, who their hallmark is their defensive prowess, they will often tell you that defense comes down to effort. If you want to try to be a good defender, you can be a good defender. There's probably truth to that, but go look at some of the best defenses in the country. They also tend to have some of the better athletes in the country. They tend to have length. Again, last year, Udoka Azubuike, I hate to keep going back to him, but he got in great shape over the offseason, turned into the best shot blockers and rim protectors in the country. That can help your defense. If you have Devon Dotson, who's the fastest player in the country, who can get back, Marcus Garrett, these long, that all can help. This team physically, David McCormick hurts them in transition defense because he does not have good footwork. He does not get back quickly. He isn't super rangy or long athletically. I am surprised with how much they've struggled. I thought between Marcus Garrett and Ochai that they had a couple of high-level plus defenders at the wing. I think Jalen Wilson can be a plus defender, but it's just been a variety of things. Like I said, I think David hurts them, but I'm not going to blame it completely on him. It just seems to me, I don't want to call them soft because I'll let the coaches do that. But they just, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna sit here and do that. But they seem to me to be a team that just they don't dig deep like we've seen some teams, and they don't have that sort of that fire in their belly that I think you expect from Bill Self-coached Kansas. And maybe they'll end up getting there, but you're right. It's there sometimes. It's not at other times. that to me tells me you possess the ability to be a good defensive team if you want to. You just haven't been locked in every single night for whatever reason.
Beards just found that KU was 4th in defensive rating last year. Do you want to guess where they are this year, Nick?
I'm going to guess it's higher than I think because KU's baseline is like top 25 in the country. I'll say 22nd.
Beards, what was the actual number?
124th.
So not better than you think, probably.
Last year they were averaging
Wait a minute.
89 points per 100 possessions allowed. This year it is 95.4, but it's 124th instead. That's
wow.
for Basketball
okay.
Reference.
Yeah, so maybe even a little bit worse than I was expecting.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty bad out here.
Also, just for fun, their offensive rating dropped from 33rd to 84th. So not as bad, but still not ideal.
Not great. Not good, I would say.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if you can be a great, like 2018, the team that went to the Final Four, they weren't a great defensive team, but they had 4 lethal shooters that could get up on you in a hurry. Last year's team, I don't think was great offensively. They had a couple of individual good offensive players, but they were incredible on defense. And that's what, kind of going back to what you asked me earlier, this team doesn't have a niche. And I don't even know the best path forward. Like, if you were to ask me to predict, okay, if this team were to become one of the top 5 teams in the country, would it be because their offense? Would it be? I have no idea because they haven't really shown us any signs of even a glimmer of, okay, maybe this is what they'll become in a few months. That's why I think is probably pretty frustrating for the coaching staff is that you're not even really showing the first steps of finding out what your identity is going to be as a team.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it because you're right. I mean, I feel like there have been little pockets where you think, all right, well, it's like a step in a direction towards an identity, but it's just sort of steps eventually treading over the same little tiny circle of ground in the middle that I'm now just repeating what you said, which is pretty good radio, I think. But it's that they don't have an identity now, and I could not confidently guess what it could become. And if you just, I don't know if there is a precedent for a KU team that had that problem anytime recently, or at least that never figured it out. And I don't know how often in college basketball a team without an identity plays that into actual like tournament success. I just don't know how often that happens, and I have to imagine it's not very often.
They don't. They don't. I mean, the last time this happened at KU was 2 years ago, 2019. The team that was young is when Devon was a freshman. The year that Udoka Azubuike got hurt, Quentin Grimes was a top 10 recruit who just couldn't find any success on the court. Deidre Lawson was your All-American, your Big 12 Player of the Year candidate, but in a way it's reminiscent of this year. That team's identity was give it to Diedrich. He'll score you 19, 20 points a game. He'll get you 10 to 12 rebounds. It's not enough, though.
Yeah.
You have to have other ways of scoring. And because Diedrich was primarily an offensive player, you didn't have much of a presence. You didn't have a rim protector. And that team searched all year long. This is a team that ended the Big 12 title streak, and they searched all year long. And that's the thing. The baseline was they were a 3 or a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's worst case scenario for Kansas, and that's what I think Bill Self has to realize right now is that you've already got a win over Creighton, you've got a win over Kentucky, you've got a win over Texas Tech. You've amassed an impressive resume, and resume is what's going to help you with seeding, which I don't even know how much it matters now that the whole tournament's going to be in Indianapolis this year. But you're going to be a top 3 or 4 seed in the tournament. Like you've put yourself in a good position already. You're not going to win the Big 12. And I know there's people out there that would say, come on, it's still early. There's a lot of games. I don't see Baylor reeling off 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah.
I think KU could maybe afford to lose one more, and even then, I don't know if that's good enough to get you a share of the Big 12. So if you can remove winning the Big 12 from the conversation, I do feel like that gives you a lot more leeway, and it gives you a bigger time frame to understand to be perfect on Saturday against Iowa State or on Monday against Baylor. Because that loss, while, you want to win that game, it doesn't hurt you in the long run of figuring out who you're going to be. That's why I hope if Bill Self is dead set on finding a way to get this team to maximize its potential, I would hope that he would just look at it and say, you know what, let's tinker.
Yeah.
Let's experiment. Let me try some more 5-guard lineups. Let me make Jalen Wilson the absolute focus of this team. Let me run the offense through this guy who's clearly been our best player. Try some things you wouldn't normally do. Maybe you stumble upon something by March, and that's how you find that identity.
I think that's really interesting. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times sort of late in the Big 12 streak I had conversations about, would they be better off in March if they weren't so concerned about making sure this streak stays alive? And I'll be very interested to see how that pans out this year. Last thing, Nick, why don't you think ghosts time travel? This is hotly contested. I actually agree with you, but I'm not sure why I agree with you.
Well, I think they're stuck there. They're stuck. Do you think ghosts can travel at all?
Oh, interesting.
Time travel.
So you have them being
tied to a place.
Tied to time or a place?
No, I guess
to a place.
Yeah. So
okay.
In theory, if you had a gruesome death in a house, your spirit just lives in that house.
Have you guys never watched a ghost movie ever?
No. I mean, I've seen ghost movies where ghosts travel.
I don't like scary movies.
Here's how it works. There's some old tale back in the early 1800s.
Right.
Gruesome, sad death.
Mm-hmm.
That ghost now haunts that house forever.
Mm-hmm.
The next family that comes in, he's just chilling there, haunting you.
Counterpoint.
Haunting you.
Have you ever seen
You
Casper?
move out. The next family. No, I have not seen. Oh, Casper?
Casper.
Hey, Casper?
Yeah.
He's a
they
friendly
leave the
guy.
house.
Time travel?
They leave the house. I'm not saying he time travels, but he can leave the house.
Travel. He couldn't time travel.
I'm not saying he could. Here's the thing. I'm not saying ghosts
Do we
can
think all
time
ghosts
travel.
have to play by the same rules?
I just don't know if a ghost can time travel.
I do think all ghosts live by the same rules.
Okay.
And I'm willing to concede ground on the travel portion of this conversation. But I remain steadfast that ghosts cannot time travel. They just they're sitting, waiting. New family comes in. I'm going to haunt you as long as you're here.
Yeah.
You're going to move out. You're just stuck there. You're stuck in perpetuity to haunt whoever comes to the house. Maybe you go to the 7-Eleven or the swimming pool, but at the end of the day, you're coming back to that house to haunt whoever's staying there.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And clearly, I guess if I'm gonna die with unfinished business and I'm gonna die in some gruesome, passionate fashion, I guess I just want to be killed outside. Because then I could probably, I feel like you get more freedom as an outdoor ghost, Like.
Well, yeah, if you get killed in the woods, you just have to haunt those same woods. It's the same idea.
That's a great. So what if I got what if it's in Westport? What if I just croak in the middle of West? Do I get all of Westport? Do I get a block?
It's not a good place to be a ghost. You're not going to be able to haunt anybody there.
Maybe
too loud. Nobody's going to notice you.
Maybe I don't want to haunt.
If you knock over a drink,
yeah,
ominously, nobody's going to notice. It's going to be another spilled drink at another bar in Westport.
So I think I just need to put this out there. I did a Google search, does Casper time travel? And the top result was, in Casper, Wyoming, drunk time traveler warns of alien invasion. 2017.
Yeah.
So
unrelated to the friendly ghost.
People should just know about it. I think this is something that people should just know about. A drunk time traveler has warned us of an alien invasion.
Did he say it? Did he give us a timeline?
So I've actually clicked on the link. It's a story in the Kansas City Star.
Really?
Yeah, it's from the year 2048. So we got a while.
We got time.
We got time.
I'm
not going to be alive in 2048.
I'll be a ghost by 2048.
I'll be a time-traveling ghost.
Just make sure you bring it up to me that when I come on in 2047 so we can sort of preview it.
Yeah, we can do a full film breakdown. We should probably have a little bit of information on the aliens at that point, and maybe we can find out, I guess, if they can time travel, I suppose. Regardless, yeah. You want to do Wednesday at 9 sometime in 2047? Just Wednesday at 9, you just call in, 913-381-1010. We'll take your call. We'll make it work.
I have a haircut that day. That's not going to work.
Okay. You just tell me kind of what works for you. We'll work our schedule around unless we've got,
Let's just catch up. Yeah. Let's just catch up down the road. Let's not lock anything in.
Yeah,
that's right now. It's going to be a busy year for me, but we'll touch base soon.
For sure. Okay, that sounds great. All right. Well, Nick, thank you for being here. And then in the next, what years are right now? 2021. In the next 20 or 30 years, we'll do another segment, and I'll look forward to it every single day between now and then.
I can't wait.
I think you're going to have to. It's Nick Schwerdt of Rock Chalk Sports Talk on KLWN in Lawrence. Follow him on Twitter at Nick_Schwerdt. Let's take a break, think about the things that we've done, and try to make sure we have no more unfinished ghost business by the time 2047 gets here.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Robert Brogdon Buick GMC in Olathe is your destination location for quality new and used vehicles. You'll find the area's largest inventory of new Buicks and GMCs, including the all-new 2021 GMC Yukon. Plus a huge selection of hard-to-find models with a hassle-free customer experience. At Brogdon, they know your time is valuable, making sure to give you the fastest car buying experience. And Brogdon is an official GMC Business Elite dealer, serving the entire KC metro area with professional-grade vehicles for your fleet or commercial needs. Visit robertbrogdon.com. See him in person at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Championship Barbecue is now available at your fingertips with the new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue online ordering app. Place your order for the legendary Z-Man or Rocket Pig sandwiches, slabs of ribs, or a burn-end dinner right now. It's just a few clicks from your smartphone, and your order will be hot and ready for curbside pickup. The new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app is perfect for a weeknight dinner with the family or feeding your entire office. So don't wait. Download the brand new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app today.
No one gives you more Chiefs, news, information, and interviews than your hometown radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Kelsey.
Yeah, you know it. Let's go. We'll rest up some guys. That's what you work your tail off for all season.
I just trust in the coaches. I'm ready to go.
Your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here, and I am stoked that KC was able to complete a whole season of football. Now, it's the postseason. When we look back at 2020, let's remember we had KC football, and it was awesome to be a KC fan. Another great reason to be in KC is because of my favorite dealership, Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. They want everyone to be prepared for the ice and snow with vehicles like this 2020 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive SUV. This subcompact SUV is perfect for getting around in rough weather. Get extra conquest cash for trade-ins and take off over $6,300. Was $25,265, now only $18,902. Come see why customers say they just make it easy to buy a car at Roberts Robinson. Go online to robertsrobinson.com, check him out on Facebook, or call 816-630-3151 and ask for the personal shopper. Chevrolet, find new roads.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Little kids get a once-in-a-lifetime chance to play on the ice during intermissions of NHL games, and it's adorable. Last night, one of those kids decided to go rogue and use his time in the spotlight to blank. Beards, what's your best guess?
Poop on the ice.
I now will add the end of this sentence, which is to blank twice.
With Joshua Brisco.
Take one more guess from you. This kid used his time in the spotlight to blank twice.
I mean, poop on the ice still fits there.
Sorry, we were looking for Fight Gritty.
On ESPN Kansas City.
I didn't check that one. That was on me.
Oh, yeah, that said ESPN Kansas City at the end, didn't it?
Honestly, if Beards had never said anything, I don't think I would have noticed.
As soon as he said it, I heard it retroactively, but it took a little bit.
If he hadn't said that, though, I hadn't checked it. I think it would have got right past me.
From Jayhawks fan on Twitch who has said that the ZPH comes from his name. Listen, I think if you got like initials in there somehow while also making your name readable, that's a huge win. So I'm not sliding it at all. While Nick was talking, I was in fact writing on my notepad, dunk more equals good, a real thing that I did. And Jayhawks fans said, writing on a notepad for the 11 people watching this is a sign of true commitment. I'm assuming that's 11 people just on Twitch, which means we probably have nearly 20 across our multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Probably more than 20. But you're right. And it is a sign of commitment. And it also, if you were watching during that, I did a really excellent roller coaster bit that I probably would have just done for me and either Rudy. Like, I just needed Rudy or Beards
You've
to
done
see
stuff
the
like
bit.
that before. That's not.
No, absolutely. But it was a pretty good bit is sort of the thing.
It was well done.
And so
well done.
I just hope everyone got to see that because it was a visual joke for 5 to 10% of our audience, I think. 5%, maybe. Probably less than that. Wow, I'm doing the math in my head. Anyway.
It's whatever percent you want it to be.
Yeah. For 100% of our audience. That
200.
That would,
I don't know if 100% would actually be good.
It would not. It would be bad.
I don't think that's
It would
good.
be great that all 20 of our fans were watching at that moment.
Maybe they're doing both.
It would be bad to have only 20 people listening. That would be unfortunate.
Maybe they're doing both.
Well, maybe there's 200 people watching.
Maybe there's 21.
What if there's a number between 21 and 200?
There's a ghost.
22.
There's a ghost watching, which gives us a decimal because he's watching both before and after the show and during all three.
That's a good point.
You guys want to talk about the Nets?
If he times travels to the future and listens on the podcast, do we still get those numbers?
Definitely. 50%.
Awesome.
Because ghosts are half people.
I'm good with that. I don't know.
Are they?
Are we really like here to like disparage ghosts? I feel like a ghost is a full person.
Well, I mean, they're deceased. They're a spirit. They're a spirit, but not a body. What are we if not half spirit, half body?
I just think.
Welcome to my masterclass on meditation, I guess. Boy, could you off the top of your head think of a person who would be worse at teaching a class about meditation than me? I can't. I can't think of a word. You know what? I got one, and I can't think of his name at the moment.
Kyrie?
No, I think Kyrie would lead a pretty zen sort of. I think it'd be a pretty zen way about him.
The problem is, I think he just might
Gilbert
leave halfway during
Gottfried.
class.
That's what I was thinking of until just now.
That's a great point.
Gilbert Gottfried is 1.
Yep.
I'm 2.
Yep.
I would take that class.
Yeah, I will also. Now, this is when we find out, does any of the three of us have a ready for radio Gilbert Gottfried impression so we can try to get.
I'm just thinking of the College Humor sketch where he read 50 Shades of Grey as an audiobook.
I was thinking about will you go grab the audio of that, Beards?
I'll work right on that.
Cool. Yeah, if you can bleep sad fans on Reddit, you can probably bleep 30 seconds of Gilbert Gottfried.
Speaking of which, there should be sad fans tomorrow for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I forgot to record it today. I have everything ready. I just forgot to record it.
Too much information. Just say it's work in progress.
Too busy looking at stakes on Reddit.
Not today.
Do you guys want to talk about the Nets for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I have two, like, all caps, bold, underline, italicized takes. They're here for my 2 spicy takes.
We're talking cayenne ranch or spicy barbecue? Like what kind of
is it like the mild sauce? There's a medium sauce.
Fire sauce, Diablo.
I've got a medium.
Turbo.
I've got a medium, and then I've got a turbo. A turbo Diablo. And I actually am going to water that one down a little bit, but I'm going to get there.
Sweet.
Mild one, medium one. I feel like trading for James Harden makes total sense. Kyrie thing, which is where my other take is coming from, leaves it a little bit up in the air, and I get it. But this one makes sense to me, especially if you don't know about Kyrie. It cost him a lot of picks, but you're at this point. Like,
oh boy, did it cost him a lot of picks.
But the NBA is about stacking stars, and I feel like James Harden playing somewhere where he's happy to be with someone he's happy to play with feels like a decent idea.
In a weaker conference.
And to be fair, I do think like picks in the years like 23 through 27 are essentially fake picks because you've either won a title, so it doesn't really matter if you're bad then, or you've been fired and you're not the GM of the team anymore.
That's
so, like,
true.
To an extent, like those are picks that he's traded that really do not affect him in any
Sean
way.
Marks, by the way.
And do you
Sean
know?
Marks, yes.
And do you know what? You know a really good way to continue having your team be easier to reload over the next 10 years or 7 or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Have Kevin Durant and then hopefully James Harden. Now listen, when are they? They're both up soon. You said
they all have player options: Harden, Kyrie, and Durant after the 2022 season.
So if they all leave after 2022, this is a bad trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably a good gamble, though, because the most important thing is keeping Durant happy and then hopefully keeping him and at least one of the other guys happy. If Kyrie plays great.
You got it. I mean, my thing is, like, I'll almost never, like, judge a team for trying.
For swinging too hard.
Yeah, like you've got to figure out a way to get past Giannis in the East and then LeBron in the West.
Yep.
And you don't do that by building
your
a team
2024 pick isn't going to do anything.
You don't do that by building a team full of depth. Because I've seen people talking about, well, now they have less depth now. Like they're not as deep. Blah blah blah. The Nuggets last year were the deepest team in the NBA,
right?
And the Lakers handled them for the most
part. Can I say this? Depth helps.
It helps.
It helps during the regular season when you have two players who are either not healthy, who were coming off a big injury last year, and another guy who just can't stay healthy in Kyrie.
Right.
Kevin Durant, though, I will say, he's all right.
He seems good.
He's doing
Kevin
very
Durant
well this year.
had I think he finished an assist or a rebound shy of a triple-double against the Nuggets last night, and it was about the easiest triple-double I've ever seen a player have. He was
I think he's 29 points a game on 50-some% shooting.
But I think your point about depth actually totally tracks, Beards, and also tracks with where I'm at right now on that, which is that it's especially helpful in the regular season when you've got to grind through all of that. But if Harden,
especially during this weird COVID year,
but if Harden,
the Sixers are getting screwed right now because of all this.
But if Harden, Durant, Kyrie, or any two of those three guys or whatever end up not being available for any reason in the playoffs, your depth isn't going to save you against Giannis or against LeBron, which is what this trade is specifically targeted for. It's trying to make yourself go from a team that should be one of the top 2 teams in the East for the next 3 or 4 years, and trying to make you a team that has the stars with a shorter lineup in the playoffs to be able to actually contend against Giannis and LeBron, which they may have done anyway because Kevin Durant is good at basketball.
I thought they were going to be. I thought they were my pick. They were probably going to come out of the West especially before Dinwiddie got hurt.
They play in the Beards.
Beards.
They play in the East. Do you even watch basketball?
It does not.
Where's Jarrett Culver? You idiot.
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Houston.
Okay. Where did Gordon Hayward sign?
He's in Charlotte.
I knew he was in Charlotte, but I had at some point in the day of news. That was really a joke just to Beards.
I know. Don't worry.
And so I just didn't need to. But me trying to explain it to anyone else just isn't. I'm gonna just rip cord. It's fine. Did he ever have a son?
Yes. I think the last kid he had was a son.
Gordon Hayward?
Yes.
Yeah. His last kid was his son because he's finally happy now.
Beards, you're gonna have to dig into the audio and find that because just dropping that without having the logic behind it, the context, is really bad.
See, okay,
I'll give you my Kyrie take if you want.
I will,
go ahead.
but we have a great Twitch question.
Okay,
and I have to. Jayhawk fan, thank you so much. Would you rather be the Celtics who decided to just hold on to all their draft picks and not grab another superstar, or would you rather be the Nets with 0 picks but 3 superstars? And honestly, I think this is a great question.
Yeah.
Beards?
I mean, I will point out that they drafted both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with those Nets picks.
And the rings keep coming. They're raining from the sky.
So many rings.
Like rain, which is what rains from the sky. But I think here's the thing. So I think you can ask that. I think you can ask that question.
It's a joke, but also there is something to it.
Yeah, sure. And the Celtics have been successful since the trade.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily
mean towards 3 conference finals in 4 years.
Are we counting conference? Counting conference finals again? Because if so, you're gonna have to walk some things back from Rudy last year.
In Boston, we hang banners for conference finals. In Boston, playoff appearance, baby. We were the 6th seed. It's okay, Beards. It's fine. But my point is, I don't necessarily even mean this towards Boston, but in general, to most teams who have a lot of draft capital. And again, I'm actually not even talking about Boston because Boston's a very good team. But there are a lot of teams that have a lot of draft picks that constantly have these, value high picks.
Right.
And they can't turn them into superstars.
Right. Those picks have to eventually turn into superstars.
And so, yes.
Which is the reason, by the way, that I think both teams should probably be happy about how today went. Now, because the Rockets don't need more superstars right now. They need they're gonna try to build from now, essentially.
They need a team that doesn't hate each other.
Right. And the Nets do not need their 2027 first round pick right now. They would like to have very much James Harden. I think we can say both teams should be happy with that.
Now this will suck for the future, like for the future front
Yeah,
office.
if you don't win and they leave.
If you're Sean Marks and Steve Nash, you're not worrying about your job in 2027 because you got to keep your job now.
Also, let's say you are good throughout this stretch, how many 20th overall picks are really impactful?
And that's the other thing with the NBA is the picks 20 through 30.
It matters so much where they come from.
I don't remember specifically where Jimmy Butler was at, but Jimmy Butler was a late first-round pick.
I think he was either the second round or a very, very late
There are
first
plenty
round.
of examples of that,
he was
for
a
sure.
first, but it was like the late 20s. But my point being, like, the Jimmy Butlers are few and far between.
Is anyone from this
So
draft,
few
is
and far.
anyone from the last... I mean, I guess last year we have specifically Zion, who has a very high ceiling, it seems. But over what period of time do you not have a draft pick who comes out and is Kevin Durant or even is James Harden? Anyway, again, the point of that is I think there's total reason for both teams to be happy with how today ended up. It didn't feel like the Rockets had Harden's value tanked, and the Nets aren't worrying about 5 years from now. They need to keep Durant, and they need to try to win with the core that they actually have.
And trade Kyrie.
I don't know what's going to happen with Kyrie.
Oh, no, I'm saying they need to trade Kyrie.
For what? We don't even know that he's going to play at this point.
That's the thing. If you trade Kyrie,
they traded James Harden knowing that he wanted to be out.
You're not getting anything.
I'm willing to bet that this trade, the reason it happened now, as well as like some of the Harden comments from like last night or whatever, I'm willing to bet some of this is also just Kyrie insurance after
absolutely.
the week,
Totally.
week and a half of hell
Totally.
that the Nets have had to experience with that, and it's like they can't trust this guy to be there, so now they're going to bring also for health like injury risk and stuff. So now they're bringing in a guy that's just always durable.
They're absolutely gonna. I mean, he does play, but is durable the right word?
He doesn't miss many games
No,
for injury.
he doesn't miss games.
Sturdy? Are we talking about Harden?
But I don't know if I'm going to call a fluffy boy durable.
You can be fluffy and durable.
Okay, maybe.
You think Quentin Nelson's not durable?
That's a fair point. But no, like the Nets are definitely going to try and make...
Your mouth dropped open at something on your computer screen. I want you to say what it is. I don't know what it is.
Oh, no. I just have I'm just looking at draft,
Oh, okay. I thought something really seemed like it struck you.
No. But I totally agree though. Like they're going to try to make Kyrie this thing work because that again to take down LeBron you need the three of them. I don't know if you can with just the two, but Harden is absolutely there also as Kyrie insurance.
And maybe if you flip Kyrie into current players, then maybe you could. But Kyrie for a bunch of picks isn't going to move the needle.
No, they need players. That's what I'm saying. Trade him for a player.
Well, you would get players, but is it like a player who actually makes a
Also, if Kyrie is going to end up being a player, then this conversation becomes
absolutely
largely void. The Diablo take that I've put a little bit of water in is that I think this isn't going to actually end up sort of vindicating Kyrie in any way. But I think that the idea of, especially in a stretch of time that the last 12 months have contained in a number of ways, having it be a little more normal for not load management, but just like, all right, this player is taking a week off, actually makes a ton of sense in just a recharging fashion. That does not mean you can go AWOL and have your coach guessing if you're going to be back tomorrow or not.
I think that's the problem.
And
right?
certainly in a COVID year, and then you go to a space that may be... Beards, you're going to try to get us to only one segment for the end of the show?
Yep.
I saw your face, man. I could read that bleep. I could see your eyes change like a werewolf at midnight because it was a radio show that needed to take a break 30 seconds ago or right
2
now.
minutes ago.
But because my Diablo hot sauce take at Kyrie's first AWOL out personal reasons thing was, you know what, especially in a league like the NBA where they've done a pretty good job of trying to keep players holistic health and a relatively good sort of eye line, it actually makes sense for there to be, and in really any job, like it makes a reasonable amount of sense to say, like, all right, hey, I am out, parentheses, personal reasons, for the next 3 days, 5 days. Not even because something happened, but like I'm just gonna step away and kind of exhale here for a little while. I actually think that makes a ton of sense. And you can say, well, their season is, they have all this long off season, they're making a lot of money. That's all true. That's all true. But if you think that you going away for missing 2 or 3 games and then coming back is going to make you simply better, not even necessarily at basketball, but just feeling better, actually think that that's something that we might even see in the years to come, the NBA sort of embracing in some way. It gets tough with like TV deals and everything, but even like with the games that were the playoff bubble games that were called off in a form of protest or boycott or whatever, they took that in pretty good stride. You do need to tell your coach.
Just let them know. Like, he was on a Zoom call last night, like talking to a potential district attorney candidate.
During the game.
That's cool.
During the game.
Yeah. But like, if you're missing, because like that's actual, like he's talked
you've,
about
planned that on something.
He's talked about making actual change, right? Basketball not being the most important thing. That's fine. Just let Steve Nash know.
And then being like your sister's, I think it was a sister's birthday party or something at a public, like that. It's all of those things are. That's where the Diablo Tay got watered down as it kept kind of
just tell Steve Nash
happening.
Like, hey man,
they're vibes coach. You got to tell your vibes coach.
Hey man,
Steve Nash. How do you think Steve Nash feels right now? Is that the answer?
Yeah, probably.
Like, oh, I have so much to work with here. And also, oh no.
One of them's a little chubby and one's not around.
If anybody can handle how to distribute all of those things, it's Steve Nash. We'll do the show again tomorrow. Bye, Mom.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome to Elevated Automotive.